Baturdays. Baturdays. Omnidog in the Minister of Comics. Talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the fact. Baturdays. 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 In the BatCave.
Heyo, and good evening. There he is. Good evening and welcome to Baturdays in the Marvel Cave. As somebody just pointed out that I highlighted, I'm Omnidog. Yeah, I know you're here. Whoop! Where'd he go? Oh, you don't.
I didn't do anything.
What?
He must be protesting me.
No. I went to go update my name because I changed it.
Oh,
And then I jumped out by accident.
I thought Taylor was messing with me.
No, I would never do that.
Yes, you would. You would. You should. I bet you started already plotting something. Okay, so this is Baturdays in the BatCave. I'm Omnidog. We're joined with our guest Rick from Rick's Rambling Reviews and the Minister of Comics.
I don't have the power to change anything anymore. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
It's too
you
bad.
don't. Didn't you? What did you just do? You just left, right?
I was trying to log into you, but it wouldn't let me do it.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh no, the power's gone." I had 2 or 3 weeks of power, and it's all.
Oh,
gone.
I don't even know how you got it. So
It's because you were at my house for the Pittsburgh trip, and you signed into my wife's computer as you. So whenever I sign into StreamYard, it signs in as you.
Oh.
So I lost the power. I'm the opposite of He-Man. I don't have the power.
I don't have the.
I don't have the power.
And here's Crisco.
I feel like I should be on the bottom and you two should be on the top.
Okay, hang on. I'll do that right now.
Hayden's definitely gonna make a meme of that.
Yeah.
Did Hayden send you the one from your show yesterday, Jess?
Yeah.
I'll have to forward those to you, Rick. They're always pretty funny.
Nice.
Was that the
60-pound box one?
yeah.
Because you guys did a show on Tyler's channel without Tyler even being there, right? I watched it the first minute and I was like, "Where's Tyler?"
Rick and I were on for 45 minutes of a 60-minute show without Tyler.
So you're saying it was the best show he's ever had on his channel?
I'm not saying that. You did.
The like to dislike ratio is significant.
I read that message in Rick's eyes, so I know it's true. He was blinking Morse
Rick.
code.
He
at
can
me.
read your eyes now.
He was blinking Morse code at me. So
Morse
I picked that up.
code.
The guy that delivered Jess's box has spent 5 hours in physical therapy today.
How many books were in there, Jess? I didn't watch the stream. How many books you think were? In that
Let's see.
60-pound
Mr.
box?
Tex kept a running order. There were 5 Omnis,
Wow.
7 OHCs. But he didn't take an exact number. Wait, no, he gave me an exact number. I feel like there were 8 collected editions. So I mean, it was X-Men Mutant Massacre was an Omni, and then the second Green Arrow Longbow Hunters and the second Books of Magic, and 4 Vampirella Archives. That's 40. I was telling Rick before, that's 40 pounds right there.
How many Vampirella books do you have now? Like, is it from Dynamite?
Yeah, they took. Did they take over the archives? Wait a sec. Oh, I already filed them.
Jess's basement is so big he has archives.
I have archives of archives.
He also has a sweater closet. If you don't know,
There's a sub basement.
I have a sweater closet that's
there is
next
a
to
part
the
of the
library.
basement. There is a part of the basement Jess wouldn't let me see, so I don't know what was in there, but it could have been anything really.
It was everything that was messing up the nice part of the basement, just stashed into the skanky part of the basement.
I like to think it was something more dubious, so I'll just believe that.
That's
All right, it was where we sacrifice things to create illusions of great wealth.
What do you think is back there, Rick? If
That's
you
the
had to guess.
safe room. If Omar comes over again, Jess can put all the
That's
fragile
where I'm
stuff
putting
in there.
Omar.
And the password to the safe room is raw shark.
Yeah, that's where Omar goes, and he can't come out. Oh, here's Mr. Tex. 4 Omnis, 5 OHCs, and 7 collected editions.
Collected editions, I kind of felt like is always like the umbrella term for all this stuff, but
That was
maybe...
like the new Batman Superman by Gene Yang, Raw Shark, Strange Adventures, Nightwing, because those are what some of the collected editions I got. Things like that.
Nice.
And then the Omnis, Books
And
of
Jess
Magic, Longbow Hunters, X-Men Mutant Massacre. What was the other Omni?
Jess and I were texting today about how the best movie device that would come in handy for him is the neuralizer from Men in Black. And we'd say he'd probably use it on his wife at least 10 times a day. With packages. I'm like, yeah, she probably wouldn't even know her name anymore by the time you were done using it.
What am I doing in this marriage? What? I'm married? What am I doing in this house?
Jess, what is this package on the front stoop? Oh, who am I?
And then Wonder Woman Silver Age Volume 1 was the other Omni.
I'm telling you, just got to get a shoot to one of your basement windows, and the mail guys just deliver right there.
I'm lucky that mail guy brought it to my door. At 60 pounds, that thing was a concentrated, heavy. That was the heaviest thing I've ever lifted as far as boxes go.
You do have that back door to your basement, Jess. Maybe if you tip him really well, he'll take it to the back door of your basement.
I am going to tip him anyway. I think that was FedEx. I've already tipped the postal worker. She's a tiny thing that humps all my packages to the door. I haven't tipped. I need to check that box before I chuck it. I feel like FedEx delivered it. So I need to throw him a 20 at least. Oh, and there's Mr. Tex who's saying Wonder Woman Silver Age. Can you tell us, please, what the collected editions were that I got so I don't have to get up and go look at the stack, Mr. Tex? Thank you.
Viewers always remember things about our lives much more than we do.
Oh, yeah. N-Man 40, no, maybe you got used to, sometimes Kristen and I do an afternoon show on Saturdays, but
unless he's talking about the SSD show from yesterday and your unboxing.
Yeah, you were on like all day. You were gone all day yesterday.
Yeah, I was. It felt like it. I was tired, man. I was on Thursday with Tyler. I was on yesterday by myself, and then there's today's show, N-Man, and we're happy to have you. Crashline, I am confused by the term collected editions as well. I always use that as an umbrella term. I think he's using collected editions in places of SHC.
I mean, we're all different, but I would kind of say collected editions is the umbrella term. Then you have omnis, deluxe editions, trades, standard size, deluxe hardcovers underneath it. So I'm sure he means collected editions means the rest of those that don't include omnis and absolutes.
Yeah, he put okay. Let's see what his terminology basically means. Trades, whether they're hard or soft cover. Right. That's like Raw Shark, Nightwing, and Strange Adventures. Those are what he considered the collected editions.
I'm looking at your collection, Rick. Are you pretty much like a hard and fast hardcover person? Or are you willing to buy trades and other things if you have to?
I have a bunch of trades. They just aren't like on this part. Like, so most of this is like my independent stuff or IDW stuff. And then over there, you can't see it. I have like most of my Batman or Bat Family stuff. It's kind of like it's a 2x4 Calyx that we use as like a TV stand as well right now.
Did you order the hazmat McFarlane Batman figure?
I did not.
Jess was texting me about it today, and I'm like, I don't get that figure. I know you and Tyler are really into it though.
Do you want me to send you that, Rick? It's from a certain place that's sold out, and then all of a sudden it went up again today. You press the back of the Batman in the hazmat suit, and his chest piece signal lights up. His emblem, his symbol, his bat symbol lights up.
I'm tempted.
I think Rick's trying to buy less. I think he's trying to buy less Batman like I am.
Yeah.
Figures. Did you pre-order the Zero-N-R Batman though?
I did after you sent it to me.
you have to have that. Jess and I were saying it's a missed opportunity that doesn't come with Batmite though.
Yeah.
From RIP. But that's gonna be a cool figure.
I had the rebirth Batman, and they're just like I wasn't 100% sold on it. And then you sent me that photo, and I took that one out of my pre-order and I put the Zero and R.
Oh, the Three Jokers one.
No. It's I mean, I basically have the rebirth.
They're doing so many Batman. It's hard to keep
Yeah.
track of all of them.
Rick, I'm going to send you this. It says sold out again, but it's you have to check it every day.
Okay.
Once you see this, you're going to want it. I'm sending it to you, so go there. Okay, you see that? Hazmat suit, light up.
Oh, Jess, I thought of another McFarlane figure that we desperately need, and I think you'll agree with me once I say it. And I'm sure Rick will as well.
Only if it's Batwoman. What?
Well, we've already talked about Batwoman a lot. We know we want.
Oh, this is a new figure.
How about the Question? That would be really cool.
I would love a Question, and I would
and a Renee Montoya Question.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Like a 2-pack. A 2-pack would be awesome.
You're pulling me back in. I would dig that.
McFarlane is very hit or miss for me. I either love them or I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that at all. They've had a lot of misses for me recently. Like the clay face that looks like a turd.
I don't dig that. I didn't order that one.
I didn't like. I would love to have a clay face too. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
I feel like they do their best work with figures that you don't have to see all of their face right now.
Yeah.
Like the faces on some of them are either really great or just awful.
Yeah, like the Dick Grayson. Well, I mean the Nightwing one is awesome. I like the new Batwoman. Batgirl from Three Jokers.
Yeah,
that's a cool Barbara Gordon.
The Damian Wayne is pretty good.
I have the Thomas Wayne Batman from Flashpoint, but the unmasked one looks terrible.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but yeah, they really can be hit or miss with face sculpts. That's for sure.
Like the Superman face sculpts, none of them are great.
There's no Superman that I like from McFarlane yet. I'm waiting for that Superman figure that I love. I'm hoping it comes.
One right there.
Is that the Action Comics 1000?
Yeah, and like even then, it's not the best.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I almost pulled the trigger a couple times. But I was like, I just don't. The emblem's kind of weird. He looked kind of shrimpy. Didn't love his face sculpt. I don't know what it was about him. I know Jess got that in his Doomsday 2-pack.
I was happy with it. Yeah, I have them facing off each other.
The emblem's a little big, but like out of all the Supermen, I think that are available, it's the best one.
Roberto, thank you for this. I did check my invoice. All the books came, and I just need to check if you're saying for who to tip, I'll just check the box because I already tossed the invoice after you properly suggested I double check. They sent me everything they charged me for, and it could have been a 70-pound box, but it was.
What's the limit? What's the limit they'll send you in terms of pounds?
That is a heck of a good question. 60 pounds, I don't think is fair to any of the people involved. I mean, the first person who has to lift it from DCBS all the way to the guy that delivered it to me, that is a ton of people in the system that have to hump a 60-pound box. So I don't know what the limit is because that seemed egregious to me. Based on my humping it around my house.
The biggest box I've ever seen is Tyler's box from last year. That was like a coffin, basically, from Big Bad Toy Store.
I don't think that weighed that much since it was full of toys. But
in terms of the box,
yeah.
And then he was bugging me and Jess all day, like, what am I going to tell my wife? Blah, 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 feel bad for me. And then he told her, and we're like, why'd you waste our time the entire day? that box was massive. That was probably the biggest box I've ever seen for an order.
Yeah, it was as tall as he was, wasn't it?
I was close. It was very close.
But if that thing had been packed with books, that would have been a 120-pound box. There has to be some. I would have thought 60 would have been the top that anybody would want to move. I'm glad it's over with. I mean, it was a fun video, but that was not a fun box to move at all.
60 pounds is like shoving 3 of my son into a box, basically. He's like 20-some pounds, so it's
so it's lifting 3 Bat Sams.
Basically.
except the books weren't wriggling around like he probably would. So let's see what. Right, doesn't matter. We all like comics. I don't know what it's in referral to, but let's say we all like comics. Sasmurf's digging your Lego Batwing, Rick.
Oh yeah.
How many hours did that take?
Yeah.
8.
Oh wow.
How many plastic bags was it?
32, I think.
Oh my god. Jess, how long would that take you in Jess hours for Legos?
32? It would take me 32 hours. I think it takes me an hour a bag.
It's a little under 2,400 pieces.
Wow. I still have to put together the Seinfeld set. It's just taunting me right now on my shelf.
I need to put together the Rusty Biscuit first. That's that. I know Patty wants to see me do that since she got it for my birthday almost a year ago. So yeah, it's been sitting around for a year. That's pretty long. I don't know. That's typical for me.
Yeah, I get the Batwing, I get the Tumbler, and then I get the 89 Batmobile.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
That Batwing looks boss.
That I love the stand for it too.
Yeah.
I always wanted to.
Yeah. And it's awesome. It comes with a piece that is like a hook piece, so you can mount it on the wall.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the scene where it's up against the moon, like kind of like
Yeah.
in the movie. I always wanted to buy the animated series Batwing that the DC Direct did like 5 years ago. And like the cockpit lights up. You can put Batman and Robin in it.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Now that McFarlane has DC Direct and they're re-releasing stuff, they might do it again. They're releasing a new BTAS Batman, cel-shaded Batman. That's coming out in a couple months. So they might be doing.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, keep going, Rick.
They also did the Batmobile, same thing, lights on the inside, but it came with a 2-pack of Dick Grayson, Robin, and Batman, and probably a bat signal like this big that lights up.
Was it like $200, $300? I can't remember.
Yeah, $200.
$200 is pretty good for that, though.
For the Batmobile and the signal
and the 2 figures.
And
for the animated series, yeah.
Okay, that wasn't a Lego thing. That was, what was that?
DC
was that
Direct.
a Lego thing? Oh, okay, DC Direct.
Yeah. And now that McFarlane has DC Direct, I think they're going to be re-releasing a lot of stuff or doing new and improved versions of this stuff.
I think you're living a lie.
DC Direct did a lot of great stuff. Like
I agree.
They had great things.
McFarlane hasn't shown me that he can pull off faces.
Well, no, I mean they're kind of using. I think they're using similar sculpts, like the new cel-shaded Batman they released from the reboot animated series 4th season. It looks exactly like the older one, except it has some cell shading on it, like how Venom did a couple months ago.
Right. Okay.
So I think they're using similar sculpts from older figures that DC Direct used.
And DC Direct also did they called them like designer series. So they had like a Greg Capullo line where they had like, Batman, like Riddler, basically taken right from the comics, but based on Capullo's designs, they made the figures. And they also did one a series with Jason Fabak. Is that how you say his last name?
Close enough.
Potato.
The guy that did like the Dark Side War run on Justice League with Jeff Johns. Like he had a whole run and they made figures like based off of his design. So yeah, they had some good stuff.
James, did you buy Many Deaths of Layla Starr? You talked about it yesterday. I think you were the one that brought it up, James. You were right. It's hard to find. I had a $10 credit at eCampus, which sent me a beat up book, and I got customer service on the line, blah, blah, blah. I had to send it back, had a $10 credit, and they had it. So I got it for like $4. And I can't wait to read it because I didn't even know it was out. I forgot all about this book, and it's supposed to be fantastic.
Oh, and someone in the chat's talking about working on the Lego Daily Bugle. That would take forever.
I'm not ready to try that.
Oh yeah, you have that. I forgot. That has to at least. I mean, if that took Rick 8 hours, that has to take like 20 hours?
Days.
That's an awesome one, though. Once you have that done, you're gonna be pretty proud of yourself.
3,800 pieces, just a little bit under.
What is
the Lego Daily Bugle?
3,800?
It says 3,772.
Wow.
No, I'm not attacking that until I do the Rusty Biscuit.
I think that the Lego building can become like your and Patty's new puzzle building, Jess.
We got each other puzzles for Christmas. So it's possible we could be doing both, because we have a puzzle table in the living room that we never use, and the desk in the living room that we never use, and that's where I'm going to put the Rusty Biscuit. So that room's going to get a lot of use.
I think Patty will keep you more organized. I think she'd be good at being the manual person and being like the director of the project. I don't know if you should be the director of the project, Jess.
Yeah. She can organize the pieces by like shape, so it's easier to grab them.
I mean, like Jess describes Patty with organization like General Patton, like commanding. So I think she could do it really quick, and she'd tell Jess what to do. I think it would go pretty smoothly.
Oh, she's always as organized as Eisenhower was with D-Day. I mean, she's just got everything lined up all the time.
Well, our wives have to be organized and put together to have schlubs like us for husbands. So
Right.
I don't know your wife, Rick, but I'm sure she's like our wives, maybe the one who keeps our lives running.
Well, as you can see, she's tolerating all of this hodgepodge I have going on until I can get a little bit more space.
Where are you right now in your house? Is that a shared room?
Yeah, so like on the left side of me is like a family room, living room area, and then I have this like little corner with my desk and books and stuff. So I get some piles on the floor, some piles of shame.
we all have those. We all have piles of shame. I have some stacked around the room. But yeah, it's my dream someday to have. I'll never have a basement as big as Jess, but I would love to have a finished basement for my collection.
Like you can kind of see if I turn it, like.
Yeah, then there's your dream house in the back.
That's right.
Is that your Barbie dream house?
That's right.
Rick also collects Barbies. Everybody, I don't know if you knew about that.
I collect 2 of each. I buy one, I keep it in the box, and then the other one I take out.
That's smart shopping.
Jess, you do that with the Marvel Legends that come in the nice like retro boxes, right? Don't you buy 2 sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. I'm happy to report that I bought 2 of the love triangle, the Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey. I was happy that I flipped it and it paid for itself and something else that I bought. So nice. I told Patty everything was free, and she was like, keep doing it. I go, okay.
Did you see that Marvel Legends thing where it's Wolverine with the photo, with like the photo frame where he's petting it? What size is that? Is that like a 1/12, 1/6 scale?
I think that's in scale.
Oh, okay.
That's from the X-Men animated series,
right?
Yeah, because they have a Jubilee. They have a Jubilee and Mr. Sinister based off of those designs.
Got it.
I canceled those. I ordered those in a frenzy and then realized I knew nothing about X-Men animated series. What am I doing?
But you did love Mr. Sinister in.
I have I have a Mr. Sinister, a sassy Mr. Sinister from Hellions.
Okay.
I do have that, but that's an older figure. Let's see. Nicolas Cage in a crisis. Batwoman Omni or Dini Omni?
To quote Tony Stark, is it too much to ask for both? Because those are both. I can't pick one over the other. They're both awesome.
Yeah,
you need to have both of them.
Okay, sorry, we can't help you, Nicholas. We're telling you need both.
I mean, if you have
3 of us,
one now, maybe Batman by Paul Dini's been out longer, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think Batwoman's gonna be around longer.
Yeah.
Than Batman by Paul Dini. DC tends to not sell out as quick as Marvel, but it still happens eventually.
And I don't think they're on the reprint program like Marvel is. So once Batwoman goes out, she'll be out of stock. I mean, Batman by Paul Dini, actually. Once that goes out, it's going to be a while before they reprint it.
Batwoman had the worst cover of the year last year. I love that omnibus, but the cover is not good.
By a long shot.
For how many great covers J.H. Williams did. The fact that they picked that one.
I don't even remember that boot cover. I totally forgot it because there were 35 other covers he did that were way more impressive.
I still think my theory about the DC Collected Editions department is true. It's one guy who naps for 7 hours out of the workday, and he wakes up for the last hour and says crap and just like does a bunch of stuff and leaves, because that's okay, it makes sense.
He's George Costanza. He's got his whole sleeping thing underneath his desk with an alarm clock.
I love the episode with the Penske file when he legit sits in his desk for 8 hours and he's like, all right, time to go. You see the clock slowly ticking by.
So one of a company I used to work at a job ago, my previous job. I remember my first day I'm walking around being introduced to people, and I meet this one guy who looked like he was trying to be what's his name? Steve Jobs. You know, I meet him, say hello, and I turn and what's that?
He was wearing a black turtleneck?
Yeah. I turn and I look down, and no lie, he has a sleeping bag underneath his desk with an alarm clock and a little mini bookshelf. And I was like, I only thought this would happen in Seinfeld. Apparently it's real life. And he literally he'll go in there and nap and like read a book like for like an hour a day.
And nobody cares? Like the boss didn't care?
Or was he the boss?
He was not the boss of like his department, but he was up there. So I think he was integral enough that they just let it go.
Oh, it's a coup that's working on the Lego Daily Bugle. Okay. And Roberto has a 20-book box waiting to be shipped from DCBS with several omnis. That sounds like what I got. So, I mean, they're just pushing them out in giant boxes. So I bet you get one too. Rusty Biscuit sounds like something I should be looking up on Urban Dictionary.
I'm sure it's something horrible on Urban Dictionary.
I bet it is. Yeah.
I can't. Everything you look up on Urban Dictionary is bad.
Yeah. Don't look it up.
You can look up hello and it'll be something disgusting. So
don't look it up. It's my name for the Mandalorian ship because I can never remember the real name. And don't bother telling me the real name.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. It got destroyed, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, I forgot about that.
And man, I bought the wood colored calyx because I wanted it, not because that's all that was left. And actually, when I went to go get it, I checked to see if it was in stock, and I had to drive an hour to IKEA, and I got there and I couldn't find them for a solid 30 minutes. And then no one there said they could find them, but my wife was weeded them out, and I only found this one and then the 2x4 that I have over there.
Oh, Roberto, a pile of shame is our books we haven't filed yet. They're just stacked because we haven't gotten around to filing them yet.
Yes, yeah, Jess has one that's taller than a human being. 2
now. With the DCBS order yesterday, it's 2.
Good thing you don't get earthquakes in Alexandria.
Yes,
or you get toppled over by a bunch of books.
Oh my gosh. If I lived in California, I would never have this setup. I went through way too many earthquakes. None of those statues would be up there. I don't even think I'd put these statues here. They'd all be in glass cases tacked down.
You would have to mount your shelves to the wall too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that door of spiders, you'd be cleaning that up, probably every couple months.
Well, they're stuck up there pretty good. When the flood came, they had to be taken down because it got repainted. The door did. And now that it's up there, there's a new figure coming out. Oh, it's going to be Null. I'm going to put him at the top now of the Door of Shame. He'll be standing over all of them.
One of the only Marvel Legends I'm excited about is Null and the Spider-Man, and that's it. Everything else they've announced is like nothing to me.
If I said Door of Shame, I meant Door of Spiders. I think I said Door of Shame because I love that door.
Taylor, do you have the Black Series Boba Fett that comes with all like the flames and attachments and stuff?
I do. It's right over there. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
You got me to get that, right?
Yeah, because I back when I was doing toy photography. Remember that picture? You said I have to have it now.
You had him with like his flames coming out.
Yeah, and you saw like a stormtrooper like getting blown away.
Oh yeah, that figure comes with so many good accessories.
That's probably one of my top 3 figures in my collection. I'll go get it. Hold on.
No one is talking about Marvel Legends Maestro fig. He's awesome, hefty. Yeah, I don't know Maestro. I had him ordered, and then I thought, I just don't know enough about Maestro.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait. Let's highlight you, buddy.
I mean, look at this. This is awesome.
And that's not even all his. He comes with other stuff too.
I still have some of my accessory bags. I have
accessory bag.
Jess, did you ever think I'd have 2 accessory bags in my?
No.
Look at the this one says, "What have I done?" on it. But I love this, Rick, and the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader is awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's the one you like.
I only have 4 Star Wars figures I'm really happy with. I don't imagine I'll get more. I have Django. What am I talking about? Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. I have this, Darth Vader, and Darth Maul. Where'd Darth Vader go? He fall off the shelf? I have to go investigate.
He's This is what happens when they come alive. Jess, did you open your Transformers? More specifically, the Seacons. Is that what I sold you, Rick?
No, you sold me Devastator.
Oh, all right. That was a long time ago. The small ones that combined into a big one. I think you might be thinking of the Devastator end, man, because I sold that for what I paid for it to Rick. I looked at it and realized that it was just never going to happen. So,
and I'm appreciative every day I walk by it and see it.
You're getting way more fun out of it than I would have. So I was happy to do that.
I never understand why figures. I never understand why figures will be there for months in the same spot and then fall over for no reason. It never makes any sense. It fell out
alive.
It's just really weird, man. It's just all of a sudden months later.
They're alive.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mr.
Do you have one that constantly falls down, Jess? Like more than others? Or Rick?
I do, and I finally got these little sort of sticky tack things and stuck it to the bottom of his feet. It was for some reason Iron Fist always falls over, and I don't even have him in any kind of crazy pose.
Who is that?
This guy falls over a lot.
But is that who he showed us yesterday?
Yeah,
or before yesterday.
It's really because like this isn't on all the way, and I haven't just like set his feet to kind of like adjust for the off weight. But yeah, he falls over a bunch right now.
Do you have any of the Star Wars figures, Rick?
So I was just telling them, Jess and Tyler yesterday, I am starting to go down a black hole a little bit, but I'm being selective with the Black Series figure. So I picked up a Din Djarin figure. I pre-ordered Cad Bane. I actually just bought Boba Fett while we were talking here.
It's awesome. Did you get the Mandalorian with child or just the regular Mando?
I just got the regular Mando because like I was able to find them on BBTS. And the prices on eBay for the 2-pack were pretty pricey.
Yeah, I was thankful that Tyler sent me that link and it was sold out like right away, and I got it, and I have him Mandalorian holding him and a blaster in the other hand.
And I think I'm gonna pick up the child's. You can get him he's like a as a single pack.
Yeah, guys, you can buy a child on eBay. You heard it from Rick.
Right.
Oh, I have that too.
But I want like
with Grogu.
Yeah.
I want to get a Darth Vader figure and a Han Solo, but I'm not the ones that I found. Like I'm not 100% in love with. Like they look good, but they're not speaking to me.
Did you look at the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary edition?
No,
that one's the one I have. It's awesome, but I don't know if it might have. It was. I looked literally once a week or twice a week for months, and I finally got it on Amazon like 2 months ago. I'll see if they still have it or if it's available anywhere.
No, James, this was one of the worst moments of my life, and so I preferred to forget all about it. I had a garage full of ruined books, so let's not talk about it again.
Rick, they have 3 of them left on Amazon. They're a little bit over. They're a little bit over cover, but it's not that. I mean, it's still a good price. You're not going to find them anywhere else, I don't think.
That's an Empire Darth Vader?
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
No, no, don't. Send it to Rick, not me.
That's what I said. I sent it to Rick.
Oh, all right, good.
Not everything's about you, Jess.
The show is about me.
Well, it's about me too, and Rick.
Oh, is it? Not now. Now he's all bitter that he doesn't have control. Now he's on the bottom. Uh-oh. Is Hayden in the chat?
I don't think Hayden's here.
He'll sign in soon. Well, we've talked about figures for the first 35 minutes. And
Sorry, Lars.
Lars hasn't come in yet to be upset. Oh, here's a comic book question that both Taylor and I don't know. Rick, have you read the Flintstones yet?
Yeah, I had the trades and I'm upgrading.
You are upgrading.
I haven't read it yet. I'm waiting for the hardcover to come out. I think it's not this week, but the week after.
This is a stellar read, Gabriel. You need to get it. It is it's extremely satirical and topical and funny. It's amazing. It's one of the most amazing books that came out that year.
Yeah, it's even like,
sorry, Rick, you go.
It's even like pretty thought provoking, and
yeah,
and all that. It's honestly like it's everything everyone says about it. It's one of the best. I love like 12 issue like series where you can just tell like a nice concise story and really like highlight all the best parts instead of dragging something out that where the story is not really there. I feel like it ended like I really wouldn't want to see much more. I mean, I would because it's so good, but I don't want to dilute how good those 12 issues are.
Yeah,
always leave them wanting more, not wishing they had less.
Right.
William Lee, day one buy for Flintstones.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
K-Dot answers no. I'm sorry, you can't add on.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. Howard the Duck omnibus by Zdarsky. That's a pretty cheap omni. It's only $60 cover, right? I think it's not that expensive.
Yeah, I only think it was 3 or 4 trades.
And then the Batman Detective by Tom Taylor. Because I have to buy anything with Tom Taylor's name on it. It's just a rule, so I have to buy that.
Andy Kubert.
Yeah, so it's hard to imagine that being bad.
I don't see how it could be. Are you guys going to get the Star Wars Black Series Book of Boba Fett versions of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand when they come out later this year or in 2023? My daughter's coming over. Just as a warning to the chat, please don't say anything about Book of Boba right now because we haven't caught up yet. So I'm not going to get those. I have enough figures. I have just enough Star Wars figures myself.
It was crazy whenever Jar Jar Binks was revealed as the main villain of the series. That was a pretty awesome moment.
He says no is the Seacons. They're still in their box, and man, sorry, I haven't put them together yet. I just put together some of the little ones and have fun with those. I haven't worked up the nerve. That's why I really sold Rick Devastator. There's no way I could put that thing together. There's like 19 different things.
It's also one of those things where you don't actually like you don't have like the Transformers love that like Rick and Tyler. I don't know if Tyler even really loves Transformers that much besides the figures. Omar and Rick have a love for Transformers. So it's hard to really put that much care into a toy if you don't really care about the source.
And I think I got swept up in that for a couple of months, and then I stopped and realized I didn't have the love that they did, and so
Pandemic Jess rivaled 2016 Jess. I think at points it might have been worse than 2016 Jess. Early days Pandemic Jess was a madman,
I think last year I was even crazier than the year before that. Late 2020 and early 2021, I was insane. You're right.
Rick, I wish you had been able to see Jess on our hunting in Pittsburgh. All I had to do was, hey, this looks interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had to do a stack. Didn't take much to get him to buy something.
Hey, man, I was on a book hunt.
He was on a milkshake high, just
That's true.
That is true. We were the two happiest people on earth.
Jess ate so much rich and delicious things that his stomach couldn't take it at the end of the trip.
Where did you guys get the milkshakes?
The Milkshake Factory. There's like a couple locations around Pittsburgh, and we got the Midnight Cookies and Cream.
Oh,
which was unbelievably good. Jess almost bought something else, but I think you were worried it wouldn't be as good and you'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I decided to get a second one and stick with what I knew was awesome.
Yeah,
and
they're really
it was
good.
Awesome.
I just went to this place, like in the town over, brand new. It's called Stacks, and they have like, it sounds very similar to this place, like just amazing, decadent milkshakes. Like, I got one that was brownie, like cookie crunch or something, and they came out, glass like this big, filled to the brim, and then on top a full brownie with like whipped cream, like total food coma.
Yeah, I got the best tour of Pittsburgh's comic shops and places to eat.
And we only visited like 5 of 20. So Jess will have to come back. And we were gonna go get milkshakes right away, but Jess said he would pass out if he didn't get other food in his body before. So
I needed protein.
I made a breakfast sandwich for you before that.
And that was good. That was awesome.
Every meal we had was great. Every comic store we went to was great. So it worked out.
That's true. Howard is only 3 trades, so yeah, that's a small Omni. But
Hey, Rick, where do you even live? I don't even know where you live.
New Hampshire, like right on the border of Massachusetts.
God, I never would have guessed that with 49 guesses.
Yeah,
that would have been my last guess.
Oh, yeah, just the stimulus halls were epic.
I had to like convince Jess to put those on YouTube too. You almost didn't put them on YouTube.
I felt bad. Yeah, I did feel bad. You did. I go to you for ideas on what viewers of YouTube want, because you're a much more of a YouTube viewer of things like hauls and everything else.
Not as much as I used to be. Like I used to watch all your videos. Now I don't really watch any of your videos, Jess. Not because I don't like you, but it's like once you become friends with somebody, it's like.
So I lost a fan, but gained a friend.
There you go. That's one way to look at it. As a viewer, like I used to watch Omni Bros and Omni Dogs Vault a lot, so I know what people would want to see. And hauls are always guaranteed likes on Instagram. I'm sure Rick knows that with his Instagram account. It's like you put no effort into it, but people like it more than anything else. I put a thoughtful, pour out my heart review on Instagram, and it's like 50 likes. It's like 500 likes for this stack of books that took no effort from me at all. And it's like, whatever.
Right.
Instagram.
I'll sit there for 30 minutes. I'll draft up a review, go back, proofread it. And I'm like, all right, this is great. 20 likes. Put up a haul, 200.
That's why you do what Jess does. Jess does it in 10 seconds and never looks at it. Doesn't know how many likes it gets. He just puts it up and he's done with it.
I am done with it.
Forget it.
The reason I felt bad about the stimulus hauls was people were out of work and sick and dying. That was that was 2020 that I ended up, what did we get? 2 or 3 stimulus checks?
Yeah, 3.
I took my chunk each time and I bought books. So I felt badly, and I said that at the beginning of every video, and people were like, no, this is exactly what we want. This takes me away from, thinking about the virus, thinking about life in general. I did feel badly that there were people out of work and I'm sitting here showing off my books, but all the viewers said that's what they wanted. And
you probably shouldn't have eaten caviar and wore your gold shoes while you were doing it, and showed off your sweater closet. But
and my sweater closet and library. Yeah, that was a little too much.
And yeah, you probably shouldn't have had Jeeves in the background, your butler. So handing you the books.
That's not his name.
I'm sorry, Alfred.
What's the story on Edie's?
That's where we went. Remember the one we went to on Saturday, the first store we went to, Jess, with the 2 levels?
Oh, the Pitt campus?
No, the one before that. The one that had 2 levels.
Oh, the one we went downstairs to.
Yeah, right. So that's that one.
He said he doesn't get a good vibe from that place.
I think some of the employees are kind of off, but we dealt with a pretty nice. He was weird, but he was pretty nice though.
Weird but nice, but I get what Micah 81 is saying. It was friendly, but it did seem a little odd. No place did we get incredible service. Because we were on a mission just to look for books like for ourselves. So
The chain we went to had the best service out of
Yeah.
all of them, except for the final one where they tried to convince you that your Harley Quinn statue was covered in outdoor dust.
outdoor dust.
Rick, have you ever heard about outdoor dust before? Apparently, it's a big problem, and if you open the doors, it comes in from outside and it invades the inside.
There was like an inch of it on there, and that's how I got it down to like $40 from.
He's like, "Oh well, this figure's close to the front door, so a lot of outdoor dust comes in and gets on." It's like, I don't think that's how dust works, but whatever.
So we corralled Rick into this idea.
I would be a great cult leader, everybody, because all I said was, "You guys want to read Marvel books with me this month?" Yes, master. It was just immediate. I had to convince anybody. I should just start a cult and get these two guys to follow me first.
The Cult of Taylor. Here's the stack of Marvel I read, minus the Captain America omnis because I already filed those back.
Yeah, I was too lazy to get some of them out of my collection, but I have most of them stacked next to me.
Yeah. So that's what I started the month with was Brubaker's Captain America. I just read all 5 of those over a weekend. And I loved them. I did a video about that. I think I released it last week. But I thought that was a good idea. Just concentrate on a bunch of Marvel books that you know are in your collection and that you want to read anyway. So I think the cult is based on your good ideas. I don't know if you asked us to drink Kool-Aid that we'd normally do that, Taylor.
I've only had one bad idea in the past 3 years, Jess.
That cost me though.
Barely. Nothing you miss. All the good ideas outweigh the bad ideas. So, Jess, would you say that the Brubaker Cap run was your favorite Marvel read of the month?
I will say that I read almost nothing but really good Marvel. Everything I read I liked, except for the very first book I read. And this is only in the house because I haven't taken it to Second and Charles yet to sell it. Was this awful book, Phantom X Max, which you showed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, Exhibit A, and Jess will buy anything. I said, oh, Phantom X, this is cool. And Jess like, give me that.
Well, Phantom X is an awesome character that I was totally excited to read more about. And it's a Max book, so it's going to be violent and interesting. This was dull as dishwater. I was super disappointed in it. That's the only book I read of the whole Marvel month that I was disappointed in. I will say, yeah, Captain America, Brubaker. I read a lot. Yeah, it was my favorite read. Well, I read it so fast. You know, I liked it. I started on Thursday, finished on a Sunday.
I think that and Daredevil by Wade were probably your favorite reads of the month, right?
Daredevil by Wade was awesome. I loved Captain Marvel by Kelly Thompson. I really loved the Domino series by Gail Simone. I loved everything, really. I reread Spider-Man Life Story because I got it in hardcover with the annual. I forgot how great. I mean, I remembered how great it was, but I forgot why it was so great.
I had to reread that again. I got that in too.
Yeah, that's what
I'm trying not to upgrade anymore, but I had to upgrade this because it's my favorite Spider-Man story, basically.
I did the same thing. I try to limit the upgrades, but there's just certain things you're like, oh, I got to get it. I mean, I love that Marvel and at least Chip Zdarsky is pushing for more of these like Elseworld type kind of separate standalone stories. Like, I feel like it's something that Marvel doesn't do a lot of. It's something that DC's always been really good at. I haven't read the Elseworlds or the What If that Zdarsky did, where the symbiote suit.
Oh, Spider Shadow.
That was great.
Was it?
That was great. I love that.
The book at the bottom of my pile is Deadpool by Joe Kelly, the omnibus. So I read 6 omnis and then the rest collected editions according to Mr. Tax. Deadpool by Joe Kelly, fantastic. I loved it. It lived up to the hype. That's the one Riley always said was the best one. It was so good and so funny and so interesting. That I highly recommend Deadpool by Joe Kelly. That was awesome. Oh, and I also read, that's one book I filed was X of Swords. Did I file that? Where did that go? Yeah.
I'll get to that
filed
eventually when the X-Men by Hickman omnibus comes out and I can finally read that stuff. I've been waiting to read X of Swords for like 6-7 months since it came out.
Yeah, it's really, really good. The first half sets up the second half. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but
all I heard is the title is misleading, that there's not really sword fights. That's what I've heard. that's the big spoiler. That's spoiler, but that's the big
swords are there. If that
the
counts.
swords are in frame from what I've heard, but there's not really like a big sword fight like maybe you'd expect.
Okay, well then I won't. The first half of the book sets up an incredible second half of the book. I thought which was totally great. The second half of the book was great. The first half of the book was good because it was all setting up the second half. I highly recommend X of Swords. But I also read Dawn of X 1 through 16. And I'm going to read Reign of X 1 through 9, then read Hellfire's Gala.
Which Jess told me not to buy, and then today he was like, maybe you should buy it.
No. I didn't say you should buy it. I said people yesterday in the chat when I pulled Hellfire Gala out of the box, that was one of the books, and a lot of people had a lot of good things to say about it. So I'm just tempering that by saying it sounded like it was a fun book. I'll check it out. I did not say for you to buy it.
Well, I like to tell things aren't true on this show.
Here's a good question. Hey guys, from Isaiah, what are some good Wolverine books? All I've read of Wolverine is Old Man Logan.
Well, one of the things I read this month is the Wolverine omnibus by Mark Millar, which includes Old Man Logan, and I loved it just as much as I did the first time I read it 6 years ago. It also includes Enemy of the State, which is a great story. It has a one-shot issue where it's Wolverine in a Holocaust camp, which is a really powerful issue. I imagine that book will get reprinted eventually, wouldn't you think?
I think so.
So everyone has to buy that if you don't have it already. It's a really underrated run, but it's almost impossible to find. It's Greg Rucka's run on Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I need to read. I should have read that this month.
I got that at one of my honey holes 2 years ago, Jess. That's great. Jason Aaron's run, really good stuff.
Jason Aaron Wolverine.
Yeah.
And also All New Wolverine, which features X-23. Yeah. One of my all-time favorite books is All New Wolverine by the fabulous Tom Taylor.
That's one of my top 10 Marvel runs for sure.
Yeah, that's excellent. Like instant classic. So good.
Yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan has a really good trade paperback called Logan. What else? Ooh, the X-23 origin of Laura is really good by Kyle and Yost. That was a really good story.
I feel like Kyle and Yost don't get enough credit, but everything I've read of their X-Men stuff has been awesome.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed it. Like their new X-Men run, and what else? Their Uncanny X-Force run was really good.
They also, correct me if I'm wrong, they created Laura on the X-Men Evolution animated show. Then they brought her to the 616, so they are the creators of her, I believe, as well.
That I did not know.
Yeah, she first popped up in the cartoon, Jess, the second X-Men Evolution cartoon that I watched when I was like 10 years old. That was a big cartoon for me.
Oh, okay.
I would say the Frank Miller Claremont, that initial 4-issue miniseries still holds up.
That whole first Omni holds up, I think.
Yeah.
That it's enormous and probably costs $1 million now.
I think it's on IST.
Yeah, it's still in print. I mean, they reprinted it. I haven't read Jason Aaron's Wolverine.
They
You yeah.
reprinted it because some guy named Jess said it'd be good to reprint and sell, right?
And he hasn't come back to me for any suggestions since then, except for Gwenpool, which I keep harping on.
One that just got reprinted, Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron, is great. The only thing wrong with that series is it's hampered by so many events that it makes you want to poke your eyes out. When it's like, come on, another event. But whenever it's really centered on the main story, that book is awesome.
That is one thing that happened in a really good run. I liked this book a lot. Black Cat issue 5 trades by Jeff McKay. Is it Jeff McKay?
Jed? Is it Jed?
Jed McKay. First of all, this has outstanding art throughout all of it. And Jed McKay really makes Black Cat really interesting and fun to follow. I just knew the basics about Black Cat. And I found this book really fun. It wraps up at the end, but leaves enough strings open that if it's continuing, I understand. But it also had book 4. Wait, was it book 3 or 4? One of them was a complete King in Black thing. It had 3 issues from King in Black, which I know nothing of, but it didn't hamper it. It was. Oh, this is number 2. What the hell am I doing here?
That's why I don't want to get the King in Black omnibus, because I don't really care how Black Cat's handling that
but
problem.
This was actually really good.
I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'd rather have like that series focus on its own stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to dealing with this issue.
I would say get the Venom omnibus that will just have the King in Black core series,
right?
And the Venom issues, and that's really all you need. I read everything for King in Black, and most of it is just all very tertiary stuff that has no real impact on the main story. But that Black Cat,
the Black Cat Queen in Black, it was 3 or 4 issues. I didn't know anything about King in Black except for Null, but it handled it really well. And I get what you're saying about Wolverine and the X-Men being ruined by events. This one was pretty ruined,
but it could have been I went from an A+ to a B+
because of it.
Oh my gosh, I don't care about this. I just want to see what's going on with Wolverine and the team. I don't care about them fighting the Phoenix Force or dealing with whatever's going on back then.
Yeah,
it just got annoying at times. I really want to see what's going on with this main story that's going with that you have set up.
I totally get that. This one was organically worked in. So much so the point that I didn't pick up that it was a major tie-in. I just thought, oh, what's happening here? And it was organic enough that it worked into it, but and then there's another a couple of King in Black tie-ins. They say King in Black on the trade paperback for the title, but there's not even a whole issue about King in Black. So there's some of these tie-ins aren't complete tie-ins.
Well, Jess, remember I texted you the picture of the Marvel Judgment Day event coming up, and I said pass, and you were like, I don't care. I'm just so done. Its events are just. I recently read a book called Slugfest, which is really good about DC versus Marvel since the 60s.
Love that book.
I read it this past month. It was great, and it really talked about the creation of events and what's really led to the state we find ourselves in, where there's constantly event after event after event, and how it's really Marvel and DC going back and forth, like Secret Wars, Crisis on Infinite Earths, this clone conspiracy, all this stuff going back and forth, and how it just kept building and building and building. And now the industry really depends on events for their bottom line financially, and they're never going to go away, because no matter how much we get annoyed by them, people still buy them, and that's the big thing. That's frustrating to me.
You have me there. I am absolutely with you that what's it called? Judgment Day. I don't care who's getting judged and by
the Eternals, the Avengers, and the X-Men. It's way to bring in the Eternals just because the movie came out last year. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that.
Oh, here's T-Lar Blunt.
There could be 4 superstars, Tyler.
Yeah, you want me to send you the
I think he had last month be Make Mine manga though, so I don't know if he'll have much to say about Marvel.
or manga, as he says. William Lee says, can you even think of a crossover tie-in that is worth reading? And Aiku correctly says the Flashpoint Batman story.
Yes.
Yowza.
The best, I think this is a series where the tie-ins were even better than the main series, DC Metal. Those one-off issues about the Dark Batman from the Dark Multiverse were the best parts of the series. And that was a series where you really had to read everything to fully get it. Like, I haven't read King in Black, but I'm assuming you don't have to read everything to understand the story. You kind of had to for DC Metal, though. But it actually made it more worthwhile to read it. You didn't feel like it was a waste of your time. Most event tie-ins feel like a total waste of your time, which really annoys me.
Right. Yeah. King in Black, you just need Venom and the King in Black issues and you're fine.
Yeah.
Which is good. But DC Metal, you're right. There was even like a side series. I can't remember what it was called, but it was following like Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, that it all kind of came together at the end. So like you could have missed those, but I think it added to the overall story.
If I was an editor at DC and Marvel, here's how I would do events. Have like an event book separate, but it can only be tied to one series. So if it involves Nightwing, it's only going to be Nightwing in this event series. If it's just Spider-Man, it's just going to be Spider-Man tied in with this event series. Otherwise, it gets to be so annoying trying to buy everything and trying to figure out everything. I just get so tired of it.
Oh, T-Lar's blowing us off. I would join you guys, but I'm in the middle of an intense toy photography shoot, and I have to eat 9 bowls of cereal. He's not kidding. This is his life.
Rick, you seem like a normal person. How many bowls of cereal do you think you could eat in one sitting?
1.
Okay. These guys eat like 7 to 8 bowls of cereal. I can eat 2 at the max. That's the max I can eat.
Oh, if you have that sugar toast cinnamon crunch from Christmas time, you'd eat 8 bowls of cereal too. That was the stuff of heaven.
It's not a matter of taste, Jess. It's a matter of how much my stomach can handle without vomiting.
Okay.
I skip right over the cereal and go right to the bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwiches.
The tailor made me?
No. I'm just saying that I make myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I couldn't eat that stuff in the morning. I ate it at night.
We did eat bowls of cereal at my house on Saturday night.
That was fun. We didn't.
I'm pretty sure you ate more than I did, though.
Oh yeah, I tried to eat one from every box. I brought like 5 boxes.
Do you guys drink all the milk when you're done out of the bowl? I judge people who don't. So, Jess, what's your answer? Let's see if
I have a special spoon that's also a straw. So once I finish it, then I drink it through the straw and the spoon. Yes,
the milk tastes so good after the cereal's out of it. So it's like a second snack almost.
And especially having like Cocoa Puffs, you get free chocolate.
Ooh, yeah. T-Lar says, I have eaten an entire box, but got extremely judged and chastised by my wife. So I am only allowed to eat up half.
We've never been extremely judged and chastised by our wives, right, Jess? That's never.
What's that
happened.
about? What kind of marriage are you in there, dude?
Jess, Tyler always tells us he's the man of the household, and like wears the pants. So it doesn't sound like he's telling us the truth here.
What's that about?
All right, so Rick, what was your favorite read from Marvel this past month?
So
Jess said his is Captain America. So what's yours?
I had to read it digitally, so I don't have it here. But Black Bolt by Saladin.
Ooh, you have to get that hardcover. Is that hardcover still available?
I couldn't find it the other day, but
it's two paperbacks, right? Or is it just...
I have the hardcover, the deluxe hardcover.
I kept the paperbacks.
That's a nice deluxe hardcover.
Yeah, Amazon prices are pretty pricey right now, but I got to do some digging on some other places. Yeah, that was up there. Another one that I really enjoyed a lot was
Ooh. That has to be a hardcover eventually.
That's Christopher Cantwell?
Yep. And this was a lot of fun too. It wasn't my favorite.
Oh, I love that book too. That was a ton of fun.
But
I did a lot of Fantastic Four reading. I actually liked Dan Slott's first hardcover more than I thought. I thought because I really liked the Marvel 2-in-1. Yep.
We all read it.
I read both of these as well. Jess has the trades, right?
I kept the trades and I read them in December, and then I read this in January.
Rick, I want to see if you have the same thoughts. Did you have was there something in the second half of this series that maybe bugged you like it did me and Jess?
Yeah, it like took almost like a total 180, and like I feel like each issue started at a place where the previous one didn't end, and I was just like playing catch up the entire issue, and like I felt there were so many missing pieces, and a little bit that's connected when you read the Fantastic Four by Slott. I understand why they collected them separately, but it may have been better to.
How did you feel about the art?
Yeah, we both were mad about the art at the end.
Yeah.
The art was awful at the end.
And I mean, Jim Chung only did like 3 issues, which
Yeah.
I kind of hate when they do that, where they say that an artist is coming on and they do like 3 issues and then they're gone and they replace them with someone else.
Valerio Sheedy did a great job as well, and Declan Shalvey had that great annual.
Yeah, the annual was great.
Ramon Perez came on, and it was like, dude, did you have no time to draw this? Because it's like it was like, all right, send it on. It just seemed like he didn't have any time, because he did the Hawkeye by Jeff Lemire run, and he did a good job there. So I know he's a good artist, but I don't know what happened here. That dropped it from like a 9 to an 8 for me.
Yep.
The art at the end.
Those drawings of the Thinker especially were just weird looking. He was crazy. I guess he was just drawn oddly.
The first half was a 10 for 10, and up until the annual, and then after that, it brought it down a little bit for me.
Yeah, the first 6 issues were fantastic. Like when they're going to different universes and dealing with different versions of themselves. Like when they have Doctor Doom as with the Galactus stuff, that was just
Is that this book, or are we talking about Fate of the Four?
Fate of the Four.
Fate of the Four, okay.
But there is Doctor Doom and Galactus stuff in the Slott run. I heard I think a lot of people really hate on the current era of Dan Slott. I've heard nothing but bad things about his Iron Man run, so I've kind of steered clear. And I heard a lot of mixed things about his Fantastic Four. But like Rick said, I did really enjoy the first hardcover. My least favorite part is probably the first story arc with the Griever at the end of all things or something.
Oh yeah.
I thought the meetup between Ben, Johnny, Sue, and Reed and the kids was a bit flubbed. It wasn't as emotionally hefty.
Yeah.
As I wanted to be. That first issue was really great though, where you see the hope that the family's coming back. And then the next 3 issues were like, but the Doctor Doom Latveria stuff with Galactus, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And the Ben Grimm marriage stuff, that also got me really, really good as well.
I liked it. I like that book a lot. People can like what they like. I don't go on social media as much as you do, Taylor, so I don't know. But I thought the art was great in this book. I thought the story was fun. The storytelling in Fate of the Four, I thought was really good. Chip Zdarsky just did. I personally liked it a lot. It sounds like Rick had some problems with it, which is fine. But I like the storytelling in it, and I am committed to continuing to read Slott in oversized hardcover.
Yeah, I think the newest one comes out soon, right?
Yeah, like in a couple weeks. I think like the 26th or something soon.
But it does start to tie into Secret Empire. Is that?
What does?
Fantastic Four ties heavily into Secret Empire.
Oh boy.
No, the Empire crossover.
The Empire?
No, not Secret Empire. I'm sorry. Empire.
I know you meant Empire.
With a Y,
yeah.
Sorry.
But I think it's only like 2 issues, so hopefully it's not. I don't know.
Maybe I'll just read Empire and Hoopla or something and just.
I have been warned away from that book by Mr. Marvel himself. So
and that's Dan Slott and Al Ewing, 2 great writers. So that's.
I know. I'm tempted to read it anyway.
Did you? I'm guessing you didn't get the omnibus then.
I did not.
That's my only hesitation. That I know it's going to tie in heavily to Empire at some point. I think it's the third after the second hardcover is when it starts to tie in.
I think we're going to run into that with a few things.
That happens with every series you read from Marvel, though.
Yeah,
I think it happens a little bit less in DC, but Marvel especially. At some point, you're going to run into an event that you don't want to read or hear about at all.
Yeah. first let me answer a question from Gabriel. I have not read Deadpool Beginnings yet. It's still up there. Wait, Deadpool Beginnings. I don't think I have. I have Deadpool and Company, but I think Deadpool Beginnings was already collected in some of my Deadpool Classic and some other stuff. So I think I sold Deadpool Beginnings because I had it in other books.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap in the Joe Kelly omnibus.
Okay, that's probably what it was. Yeah, I looked at the back and saw that I had everything already, so I sold it.
Another book that I read, I mean, not my favorite, but this one has a lot of nostalgia for me, was the first Generation X Epic Collection. I mean, I'm a big fan of Chris Bachalo's art, and this is like when I was a kid. This is when I first kind of discovered his art. So it wasn't the greatest book, but it was a lot of fun for me to read. I mean, I felt that it still held up.
I think I got that too. That Epic, because I love the like Gen X, New Mutants, the Young Mutants books. So I'm excited to read that Epic.
Does his art look different, like a lot different back then than it does now?
Yeah, so completely, like, I wouldn't say completely changed, but it's changed a lot. I mean, here's a little. I feel like it's a little bit more cartoony now.
It's not as like crazy as his, where you can't even tell where the panels end or start.
Right.
Nowadays.
I think around the same time he came off this book for a little bit, and he did the Death miniseries with Neil Gaiman in DC. It's not in this book, but in the second book he's not on it as much. But like you can kind of see the beginnings. Like I feel like he always does really funky like layouts. I can't really find a good one now. But this is kind of like where he kind of got started with that.
Here's a question for you, Rick. Super Laugh Hard's asking, out of 10, out of the number 10, how well did Gen X read? I'm on the fence.
I'd say it was a 9.
It was a 9.
Yeah. It's not overly 90s, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible. It's not terrible is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean,
early 90s.
I mean, the first 4 issues are 2 Uncanny issues and 2 X-Men. So you get Joe Metadurdia doing 2 of the issues, and I think Adam or Andy Cooper doing 2. So that's really like the introduction to some of the new X-Men that go to the school with Emma and Banshee. And this is really when Emma starts to turn from being a villain to a superhero.
Awesome. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I looked at it with like, you know, I knew I had an affinity for it from having read it as a kid, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And the second Epic collection is coming out sometime this year, so I'll be picking that up.
Well, you sold Super Laugh Hard. Cool. I'm sold. Thanks. And now it's up on my read pile. I've created a new read pile, so I'm going to have to go through my old read pile.
It's a quick read.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean it's thick, but like you get into the story and it goes pretty. I think I read it in, probably
20 minutes.
No, like a day. I mean, not a full day, but probably like 2 hours.
Prisco 10 is advising us to read Empire Online.
That's what I'll do.
Okey
that's why
dokey.
I have Hoopla to read things that I don't want to read physically.
Right. And this is the book that I came up looking for most in Pittsburgh, and so I read it.
And Iron Fists.
Iron Fists, the Immortal Iron Fists. It was digital first, and
first
then
time in print.
Sorry?
I like how the cover says first time in print. It's like, oh, good, thanks.
Well, it was digital at first, like those Jessica Jones books.
I thought otherwise it's a weird thing to put on the cover.
And he has a young protege named Pei, and he's the Thunderer. I enjoyed it. It's not hard to find now. I think that maybe when I was in Pittsburgh, it was hard to find. And then I came back, and I think N-Man 40 told me, well, it's on Amazon for like $10. I thought, how did it go from out of print to all of a sudden way in print? Doesn't matter. I think to enjoy this more, I need to read what led up to this. This is one of those books that I can't just go, oh, that happened. I want to know more about Pei.
You can't
Why
pull a Jess
Danny
Bragg.
Rand is the Thunderer. It's very cartoony art. It's about her trying to fit into, I think, middle school. She's got these superpowers and she's not allowed to use them. And Danny Rand is a pretty sucky supervisor. If he's the Thunderer supposed to be helping her along, he's not doing a good job in this at all. So he needs to figure it out and get better at it. She's learning on her own. She's an interesting character, and I want to read more about her. So I assume this is going to continue. It says, like, unto things of iron, the beginning. So, yeah, this is the beginning of Pei. I don't know when her first appearance was. Go out and buy it and CGC it, and you'll be a millionaire. I'm totally kidding.
I heard on reprints of that book, they took out the "don't" on the cover, and it says "miss the Marvel Iron Fist TV show."
Don't miss. It says, oh, so the new ones say miss it?
Yeah.
Please. It says, please miss Marvel's Iron Fist on Netflix.
I wish I'd heard that before I watched it.
So not only is this a Netflix cover, which I hate, it also has first time in print on it, which I also hate.
Like, why is it? Would that really make you want to buy it more? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I
Oh,
think
it's the
you
first
should
time in
put-
print. I have to buy it.
Well, I think that it all should be on the back.
Can we all agree that movie and TV covers are the worst things
Awful.
ever invented?
Awful.
Like, I don't understand why people want those. It doesn't make
And
any
not
sense
just
to
for
me.
comics.
Yeah, for novels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to read more of this, but yes, I hate those fakakta movie covers and stuff. Here's a compliment, so I want to read it. Disposable Heroes. Hey, guys, picked up Hellblazers by Cy Spurrier based on your praise. Wow, great stuff. That's
It
right.
also makes you mad, though, at the end that they didn't let him keep going because you're just like, I want to know what was going to happen with this particular character. What's wrong with you?
Preach.
My favorite book of January is Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson.
I read that too.
I didn't know anything about Beta Ray Bill. I kept hearing it involved King in Black. It spins out of King in Black, and it's probably the first 10 pages of the series. Would you say, Jess? It's not really that involved in that at all.
Yeah.
Barely. It's like 0.1% of the book's involved in that. So don't let that scare you away. This book is fantastic. It is so good. And the best part is his sidekicks, his friends. It's just the art is fantastic. The story is like heartwarming. It really just touches you. So much good action of him just cutting people apart, beating people up. I can't speak highly of this series enough. Daniel Warren Johnson's a creative force in the industry.
Yeah, I've read 2 books by him. This and Wonder Woman: Dead Earth, and they both I thought were phenomenal.
Yeah, you need to read. What's that other book we love by him?
Murder Falcon.
Murder Falcon.
That's getting a
Forget the
deluxe this year that I'm going to buy.
I'm waiting on the deluxe. Yeah, that's why I haven't read it yet.
Jess bought the trade and made the sacrifice for us, Rick.
You're welcome.
And I was telling Jess yesterday, they just announced he's doing a what did I call it?
Jurassic League or
League.
something?
Yeah, it's one of those things that sounds so ridiculous. It's probably gonna be amazing.
But it involved dinosaurs, though, Jess.
I think I want to read it anyway. What is it? Dinosaur JLA?
I think
Jurassic
it's Jurassic League.
That seems extremely interesting to me, even though I don't dig dinosaurs.
He can do it. He takes the most wild out there concepts and is able to distill it down. Like someone said, it's really violent and touching. That's interesting. I mean, him and his friends just like wreck people. They cut people in half, but it's all about Beta Ray Bill coming to grips with who he is. It's basically Thor.
He doesn't have Stormbreaker, right?
Yeah, because Thor broke his hammer, which allows him to change back to his original form from the horse face. And so he can't do it anymore. So now he's dating Lady Sif, but she doesn't want to be with him romantically because the horse face kind of freaks her out, and he doesn't really feel like he belongs anymore. And he feels like he needs to go find something to turn him back to what he used to look like. And the whole book is kind of a journey of self-acceptance. It had a really great message too. I love the final panel as well. I think it really just ties together the story in a really touching way, like I said. Let
me show the final panel and ruin it for everybody.
Sassy Jess is here.
It's I didn't know anything about Beta Ray Bill either, and I found this to be wonderful. I can't really say much more than Taylor did about how wonderful it is, but it's remarkably touching for how much beat 'em up stuff goes in there. He's filled with self-doubt, and Taylor said he's trying to find his place because he can't turn back into his original form. But it also tells us the origin of Beta Ray Bill and how he came to be. Well, I never knew that, and I thought this was really well done, telling the origin of him. It was super interesting.
He's basically he is turned to a cyborg basically to defend his people against his will, and that was a really interesting storyline. Basically, this horse face that he has to deal with, his appearance was forced upon him so that he could defend his people, and it's something he never
that's
wanted.
A whole side story too that deals how he feels about himself.
And I love how his ship is like, it's almost like the Authorities ship, Jess.
Yeah.
Or like Phantom X's ship, EVA.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's like a ship that can turn into like a android of sorts. And that was really interesting. Just the panel layouts were so interesting. You could tell he spent a long time, not just writing this book, but designing every single page.
When you just showed the splash page, I think the first time you see the ship, and I was getting a lot of Aliens vibes just in the design of it. I mean, such detail and like time put into drawing it looks amazing.
Look at this. You see the whole ship and what's inside of it.
And it's sentient.
And you just don't get this very much where it's a singular creator. I know there's a colorist on here as well, but someone who's kind of taking the reins on most of the stuff with the book. Doesn't really happen as much anymore. It's always cool to take an auteur kind of just really take you on a creative vision in their own mind. So I wholeheartedly recommend it. It's only $16 on IST. Is probably what, like $9?
Like yeah,
totally worth the pickup. Even if you know nothing about Beta Ray Bill or King in Black, it doesn't matter. And then my second favorite.
This is Philip. Just saying, this is Philip Kennedy Johnson that you're thinking of, IQ. Okay.
And before you get into your next book, one thing that I've always loved about Marvel, whether you've like read the series or not, they always have that first catch-up page. Kind of gives you like the high-level bullet points of like who the character is. So it's just enough that it doesn't spoil anything for you, but you can kind of go in like with a little bit of information and just kind of hit the ground running. Where I don't think DC really does that.
DC doesn't even put volume 1 or 2 anymore on the spine.
Yeah,
so
they don't number their pages.
Like, F you, just figure it out. We don't care.
Yeah.
That's so confusing. Like someone walks in, it's like, oh, this looks like a cool Batman book. And you look in the back later, oh, it's a volume 5. thanks for not warning me at all. That is true. I started my Hickman Marvel read-a-thon, and I read Secret Warriors, which I really did enjoy. It definitely had one of the biggest laugh out loud, like fist bumping moment I've ever had in a comic book reading experience towards the end. I think the best part of this book is the Nick Fury stuff. And the Caterpillar team stuff was interesting, but I don't think it was as well developed as the Nick Fury stuff. And I heard Jonathan Hickman say he really just wanted to do a Nick Fury book, and he kind of had to do the Caterpillar teams, and he had to figure out how to work that into his plot line.
Yeah.
That makes sense because that was the part of the book I loved the most was the Nick Fury stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a great book. But the one I loved even more was the Shield books. These are awesome. I can see why maybe some people may not like this. It's a little bit more cerebral, a little more hard to follow. I don't know if I fully unwrap my mind around the ending yet, but I know as I keep rereading it throughout the years, it'll make more and more sense. But I just love Jonathan Hickman dealing with historical stuff. I need to read his Manhattan projects because I know that'll be right up my alley. But this is basically talking about how S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't just something that goes back to Nick Fury, that pretty much since the dawn of time, there has been a group from S.H.I.E.L.D. protecting Earth. and they work in people like Galileo, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. So if you're a history buff, you're gonna love this book. Have you
And
read this?
it ties into his FF run. I mean, there's some stuff that
Yeah.
comes back from that first Shield series that ties right into the Fantastic Four run.
Right. So I read Secret Warriors first, then I was told to read his Shield and then go into FF. So that's
Right.
what I'm going to do next on my Hickman readathon. Then I'll do Avengers and then follow up with Secret Wars. Then I'll be done. I decided to skip his Ultimate stuff. I just didn't think I really needed it.
It's actually not bad. That's basic. I've read very little Ultimate stuff, but it's not necessary. But
Right.
there's some good stuff there with the Maker.
Yeah, I
I
agree
know
with
the-
what Rick's saying. They're
the
not
alternate-
necessary, but they're fun.
I know the alternate Reed Richards comes into play a lot.
Yeah, and Hickman deals with him a lot in the books that he did in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
I think Donny Cates brought him back in the first Venom hardcover too, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But speaking of Ultimates, I also got the Ultimate Spider-Man omnibus. I got the Venom cover. This is by far my favorite cover of the three.
That's
Did
cool.
Did you get this, Rick?
It's sitting into my to be shipped queue right now. I got the Quesada cover, the blue
That
one
was-
with the webs.
That
That's
was my
still
second
cool.
choice. The other cover, the main, like the first issue cover, it had nostalgic value for me, but I was like, I never loved that picture. I never loved that computer graphics. It's so 2000, and that's why it fits. But I just really love this purple cover. And my wife said that she thought this was her favorite. So I was like, okay, I'll get this one then. I couldn't decide. I said, Kate, should I get this one or the Quesada cover? I didn't say Quesada because she has no idea who that is. I showed her this and the other one, and she picked this one. But it was such a nostalgic trip for me because that was a book I read as a teenager. I had the mail away Marvel subscription. We had the postcard. You cross off the books you want to read, and they mail you the issues. I think it's funny how it's a modern reboot, but it's so old and outdated now in 2022. Like even the terminology he uses, I'm like, I don't think this was even cool back in 2000, where he says spastic herb, crumb bum. That's so Jake. I don't think anyone in 2000 said that's so Jake.
That's so Jake. That's like a 50s term.
Right. So that was the thing that kind of threw me. I'm like, okay, I know this is a time capsule of a book, but I grew up in this era. I know no one talked like this. Like, Rick, do you remember people saying spastic herb back in high school? I don't remember that ever happening. So that kind of took me out of the storyline sometimes. I was like, oh, why is he? That's so weird that he's talking like this. But I still think it's a great series. The first couple arcs are good. It gets really great when you get into the second Goblin arc, and the Venom stuff was really, really cool. And that's when the book kind of kicks into high gear for me. So that was a lot of fun as well.
For volume 2.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
For volume 2, which cover are you going to pick out? Do you know?
I can't remember what are the options.
One's with Carnage and Spider-Man. One's with the Sinister Six. And I forget the other one.
Probably get Carnage to go with the Venom.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that.
I think in high school we used to occasionally say, like, are we Jake? Meaning, are we even? Like, are we Jake on that? Yeah, everything's cool. All right, let's go.
But even if you did say that in high school to mean that's cool, that's like 20 years, even like
30 years.
Right. So it didn't make sense in 2000 where it's like, that's so Jake, spastic herb, crumb bum. I'm like, man, I was a teenager during this time and none of us talked like this.
Crumb bum.
I was in high school at that time and never heard any of that.
What was it? Spastic herb?
Spastic herb. Yeah. Spastic herb.
I don't even remember reading that.
I wrote them all down because I reviewed it on my Instagram and I texted to Tyler. I'm like, man, I'm having fun with this, but this lingo is really sticking in my craw because it's different reading a book from the 60s and being like, I assume they talk like this.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up then, so they must, but I grew up in the 2000s. I know nobody talked like this in the history of mankind in 2000. So I think it was a 30-year-old Bendis trying to act hip and trying to think, what are the kids saying nowadays?
Hello, my fellow kids.
Yeah, he was like Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock. What's up, my fellow kids? That was the one, but it got better as time went on. I think he kind of dropped some of that stuff. And I thought the storylines became much more interesting as well. So I think everyone should definitely pick that. That's a great starting point for Spider-Man, by the way. Spider-Man's a hard character to pierce sometimes and really jump into, Ultimate Spider-Man is probably the best place to start, especially now that these omnis are being released. For a while, this series was hard to even read anywhere besides digitally.
Right.
So definitely jump on the Ultimate Spider-Man bandwagon with these omnis.
One book that Aiku was just referencing that I read during the Marvel month was Moon Knight by Bendis and Malieve, which is a great run. I understand what I think that from what I've heard, people don't necessarily dig this Moon Knight run. I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. I loved all the Moon Knight stuff. I didn't care for the fact that he was in LA trying to make a television show about his life and be Moon Knight on the side while acting in this TV show. It just seemed really awkward to me.
Which personality is on the TV show out of the four?
I forget.
Is it one of them an actor though?
Yeah.
Because there's Mark Spector, there's Stephen Grant, and there's the two others. I can't remember. One's like a cabbie, one's an actor.
It's got a cool plot line because he discovers an Ultron head and is trying to figure out what to do with it and why somebody wanted it and what they were going to do with it. That's all I'll say. That's the really cool part of the book, the Moon Knight part of it. The TV show part of it took it from like a 4.7 down to like a 4.2. I enjoyed it as a Moon Knight fan. I really liked it. But as I've already said, the TV aspect of it just kind of was, I use the word organic a lot. So I just want to, I get it as a framing device, but I don't, it just didn't feel like, and I'm also aware that this is a comic book and it's not real life. I'm aware of that. But it just didn't feel like it gelled to me.
And someone asked, what are our favorite Moon Knight books?
There is an Omni coming out by Houston,
Greg Hurwitz,
and somebody else. Houston,
Greg Hurwitz,
and one more person.
Greg Hurwitz.
No,
it's those two guys.
No. Houston and okay, just a sec. I'm not saying it wasn't him.
I'll bet my life on it. It's Greg Hurwitz.
I've only ever read the Ellis and Shalvey run.
Benson.
You need to read the
Houston and Benson. And Greg Hurwitz, I guess. Anyway, there's an Omni coming out. And I highly recommend that. If you can find this book, Warren Ellis wrote a great Moon Knight. What they need to do is make an Omni of the Warren Ellis, Brian Wood, and Cullen Bunn stuff that came out right together. Make that an Omni. That's a great place to start. That was a great run. I know Taylor's a fan of the Warren Ellis stuff, especially.
Jeff Lemire, his run is fantastic. I really like the first part of Max Bemis's run. I actually like the first 10 issues. The final two, it really fumbles the ball badly, and it went from a 9 out of 10 to like a 6 out of 10.
That's yeah. I don't have that one.
It was that bad at the ending. I know it was because I think the run was canceled, and so they tried to rush it, and it was just really bad. And so I unfortunately can't recommend the Max Bemis run, even though the beginning part was fantastic.
Gerard backs me up. Benson. Okay, good.
But it's also Greg Hurwitz, so we're both right.
It's Greg Hurwitz Benson. And it's Mark Spector who's in the book. Right. I think maybe a bit. The problem with this one in hardcover, it's been a whale for like since it came out almost.
Yeah.
Aren't they releasing a complete collection though? I
Of
think.
Lemire?
I think they are, aren't they?
If they are, I recommend it. I don't know. I'm not up like you are on news. You're the one that's usually telling me the news.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I saw that.
And then I tell you the news 3 months later, and you're like, I just told you that.
So you guys,
there is. It's coming out March 8th.
What is?
The Lemire and Smallwood complete collection.
Oh, good. People should get it.
And also Moon Knight by Bendis and Malieve complete collection comes out. Well, it should be out now.
Yeah. I think it came out last week or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So none of you guys had any bad Marvel reads this month or in January, it doesn't sound like.
Phantom X.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you had that one. The only one I didn't like at all that didn't really have a redemptive value for me. Like I just wish I didn't read it, which is unfortunate because I really love this line of books is the latest Star Wars crossover, War of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Okay, I was in the hospital with my daughter being born, and I downloaded a bunch of Star Wars comics because it's still technically Marvel, so I didn't feel like I was cheating.
Yeah, no.
I downloaded off of Hoopla, and I saw Charles Soule and Steve McNiven with Boba Fett on the cover. I'm like, okay, I have to buy this. Steve McNiven did the first issue, and that's it. And then after that, the art just kind of takes a nosedive. The story is so boring. It's them everyone's trying to get Han Solo and Carbonite after Boba Fett takes him from Cloud City to Jabba the Hutt. So basically, everyone's trying to fight Boba Fett for a Carbonite Han Solo. That sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not interesting. It's
How could it not be interesting?
Rick, did you read it? I think you read it, didn't you?
Yeah. And the Bounty Hunter series leading up to it is one of the least interesting Star Wars books that I've read since Marvel took over the license.
It's a long crossover series too. It's like 6 months.
Yeah. I think there's from all of the series, speaking of crossovers taking everything up, like all of the Star Wars series are involved. So it's not just like
I saw that it infected a full volume of Dr. Aphra.
And same with Greg Pak's Darth Vader, which is amazing. I loved his Darth Vader stuff I read, but I know the third trade is going to be all War of the Bounty Hunters. So I'm like, crap, I don't want to read that. It's so stupid. Because I remember Vader Down was a great crossover in the Darth Vader hardcovers. They had the Screaming Citadel stuff was good, but the War of the Bounty Hunters, man, sounded great on paper. I'm guessing they did it because of Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but it was very ill-conceived and not interesting at all.
That is not good.
I don't think many people like it, right, Rick? I haven't heard many good opinions about it on Goodreads. It didn't get great reviews.
No, yeah, it's not at all. And the main, I think part of the problem, is the main character from Bounty Hunters, the Bounty Hunter series, is just not interesting. I know he's not
a new character. He's a new character, right? They made up for the book.
Yeah, so he's a character that. So there's a prequel. There's a Han Solo mini series when Han Solo joins the Empire to become a pilot, and that character's first introduced there, and then he's introduced later in the Bounty Hunter series, and he's kind of been augmented and turned into a cyborg and all that stuff. And that series itself is just abysmal, and I don't and that's rare for me to say. At least I can find some redeeming qualities in most books, but it just is the least interesting Star Wars series that I've read so far. I mean,
if you have anything augmented on you cybernetically, what would it be?
Hayden, get ready with the
don't do that. I'm talking about.
It seems you're setting us up for failure here, Jess.
No, I'm saying keep it wholesome, keep it PG.
Well, you obviously have an answer because you're asking us. So why don't you?
No, I don't. I just thought you said he was cybernetically augmented. I thought, oh, what would I do if I could be cybernetically augmented?
Probably my brain, probably just to be more intelligent.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that would just be the most beneficial.
Super intelligent. What do you want, Rick?
Are these superpowers or just
No, you're cybernetically augmented, like the book you hated.
But in a more interesting way.
Yeah, but make it interesting for everybody.
I don't know. Enhanced vision.
I was thinking enhanced vision myself. That would be pretty cool.
That only goes so far. Think of what super intelligence can do. You can create new devices, new apps that really make you rich. You can solve different issues in the world instead of just being able to see a little bit further.
That seems like a lot of work to me.
Well,
You know what I can do with my augmented vision? That's right.
Read better?
No. I'm going into Hayden territory with his augmented vision.
Oh. I'm not gonna touch that.
No, you can't touch it.
Which Hayden's probably gonna include in his GIFs as well. Another series I didn't enjoy very much. The art was great, but the story didn't do much for me. Is Infamous Iron Man by Bendis and Malieve.
Is that Doctor Doom as Iron Man?
Yeah, I was excited to read that because Doctor Doom as Iron Man in Fate of the Four is really interesting. He was probably my favorite part of the run. And I love that Declan Shalvey annual where it's all about Doctor Doom. I just thought the story was... I'm someone who really likes Bendis. I know a lot of people don't like him at all. He doesn't always hit for me, but he hits more than he misses. But I know a lot of people complain about the decompressed storylines where it's like nothing much is really happening with each issue. And it felt like that. And I was like, where is this going? I don't understand what the point of this series is. And we got there at the end. I was like, that just didn't do it for me. It wasn't really worth the wait. The art was really good. The story just didn't do much for me.
Oh, okay. I'm different than you in that respect, where whereas I enjoyed that story.
And I went in wanting to like it because I know you and Tyler liked it. So I was like, oh, I'll really enjoy it. And again, the art, Alex Malieve's never bad. He's always great. But I wanted more from the story, especially coming off of Fate of the Four with how great Doom was in that series.
Not every book can please everybody. Even within this chat, you and I disagree on books sometimes. So it just happens. It didn't do it for you, and it did sort of do it for me. But here's a good question that Super Laughheart asks: if we ever get tired of superhero books, and for me, I can say yes. So I do get tired of superhero books. What comics do you turn to when you need non-superhero fare?
The shelf behind me and this other shelf right here.
Is it all superheroes?
That's all independent stuff. Whenever out.
That's been the benefit of my doing a show with Kristen, is that she's exposed me to a lot of books that I wouldn't ordinarily know about. Independent books. She's the queen of independent books. I would go to. I like going to those books, like those Tilly Walden books. Tilly Walden's an author, an illustrator that she really likes, and those are the books I like going to. Abby Howard is another writer and illustrator that Kristen showed me, and I really like her stuff. I guess I like slice of life stuff better. But even Tilly Walden's stuff can go into space, but there's not necessarily superheroes. Those are the books that I would turn to. Independent books, and I don't mean Image is not independent. I mean, like Giant Days and Lumberjanes and stuff like that. Those are.
I love to read novels too. That keeps comics fresh for me.
Oh yeah,
I would get so burnt out on comics if I didn't read novels. Like I read 4 prose books in January. I just have to read both to keep it fresh for me. So I know not everyone cares about novels or has time to read novels, but that really helps me when I'm getting burned down on superhero comics and comics in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the same about indies, but these are some good ones.
Oh, Castle of the Stars is one of my favorite all-time books.
Rick is sucking up the jest right now.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, of course. Oh, and feathers. Of course you love feathers. Look at that.
He has watched a video and said, I'm going to try to impress Jess right now. With the books I know he likes.
And then I just got into Usagi this year.
Oh, yeah.
With the Color Classics. I mean, this is just like a lot of fun. I don't know if it classifies as superhero. It is a samurai, rabbit samurai. But yeah, for me, it's like independent stuff that is, maybe 12 issues, like something short and concise and tells like a whole story and just, is different than the normal superhero fare.
What books do you want me to get rid of, N-Man 40? Get rid of some of those books. What books? I've only talked about books I like. You're an enigma.
He made your life better with the suggestion, Jess, so you have to listen to him. So
That's
get rid of
true.
those books.
Here's a compliment. Your rooms are all very well decorated. Thank you, Jorge.
Our stacks of shames are not on display right now, so you wouldn't say that if you saw them.
And I meant to welcome a listener from Brunei. Good morning from sunny Brunei. Sorry I'm late to the live chat. Hope everyone's well. Is that you? Thank you for coming to the chat from Brunei.
See, if I was cybernetically more intelligent, I would know where Brunei is.
Vertigo is always a good place for non-superhero stuff.
Yeah,
Joe the
Barbarian's
Barbarian.
great. Probably one of the most accessible Grant Morrison books available.
Brunei is a tiny little island in the let me see if I get this right. In the like Saudi Arabian peninsula type area, and the Sultan of Brunei, before Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates came along, used to be the richest person in the world. But he's only sitting on oil, I guess, and these guys were sitting on technology.
Did he tear down historic bridges to get his super yacht out of the docking?
I read that. My wife was way outraged by that, and she's not even from the Netherlands. And I was like, look at this. How big does this? I was concentrating more on how big of a yacht do you really need? But I'm not even in that headspace. But to tear down or tear apart a historic bridge to get your freaking yacht out of the harbor? Wow.
Did you hear about the bridge that collapsed in Pittsburgh last week?
No.
That made national news. It was the day Joe Biden came to Pittsburgh to talk about infrastructure updating.
Oh, the bridge collapsed?
The bridge collapsed. It was
Did anybody get hurt?
No, but they had we have like these huge buses here that have like the accordion connector in the middle. Do you know what I'm talking about? And like they had a huge crane to come and pick it up. And there was this couple on the news that was like, yeah, we thought we were going to die twice while we were on that bridge. Like it just totally. And there was a picture that someone posted on their Twitter 2 years before that. It was like, there's this huge like support that's totally missing, just gone. It was because it was rusted out, and they just never fixed it, and it just fell apart.
And the president was there to talk about infrastructure.
Yeah, right. That's why it was really funny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it made national news. So I thought most people had heard about it.
Oh, some of those Kristen books you don't like. I think I have pretty much cultivated a lot of stuff I don't like out of my collection.
N-Man didn't want you to get rid of those Golden Age books, which I told you to get rid of, and I think you were happier for it.
I still have one that I can't seem to sell. I'm almost ready to take it to Second Charles. I can't lower the price enough. I almost have to offer it free. I've sold all the other Golden Age books, but this one volume nobody is interested in it.
Well, is there anything else you guys read from Make Mine Marvel Month that you want to talk about or highlight, or do you feel like you talked about that already? Yeah,
I love this. I had never known the Hood before. I have an action figure of him and didn't know a thing about him. This is by Brian K. Vaughan. I highly recommend this book.
He's a Daredevil villain, right?
Is he? I didn't even know that. I know nothing about the Hood. He starts out. He's got. he stumbles into. This is like the origin story of the Hood, where he gets the Hood and the levitating boots, and it goes into what he wants to do, what he wants to be. He's a small-time crook with a pregnant wife that he constantly cheats on. And he's not a very competent criminal, even with the magic stuff, but it goes into his mindset and all these other kind of characters that get involved with it, including the demon god whose cape he rips off. This is really good because it talks about the psychology of the small-time crook and how he's trying to make his life better. And he stumbles onto these mystical accoutrements The art veered close to Kelly Jones-ish, which is not my
Ugh.
favorite art.
Way to not sell me on it, Jess.
Well,
Kelly Jones is maybe my least favorite artist. So
I know. I
Not Igor Cordy.
Oh, he might be my least favorite. Well, I've only really read that I remember his new X-Men stuff, so maybe he's better than. I know I've read a lot of Kelly Jones stuff where it's like, how does your Batman walk through a doorway?
Oh, I don't know.
With
He's
those
got
ears he
12
has.
feet tall ears.
I can't get in. And I know Jess, know you love Daphne Byrne and Kelly.
Shut
Jones
up,
on
man.
Next.
What?
That was your book of the year, wasn't it?
I made a specific video about it to say how bad it was on Thursday.
Well, I already told you I didn't watch it, so I wasn't sure. I assumed you loved it. I assumed you loved it, not loathed it.
You were incorrect. I hated it, and you know it. Here he is finding out more about his powers that just accidentally show up when something happens to him, and he's learning how to use them. What I really liked is how his mind worked towards his friends. He has certain loyalties to certain people. You know, I would say they're atypical bad guys in this book. They aren't your typical bad guys.
Okay, he is a bad guy, so that makes sense.
Well, he's a bad guy. And I feel like he didn't mean to be this big of a bad guy. It sort of just happened to him. He's constantly going to his mother in the psych ward, not the psych ward. She's wait, yeah, she may have dementia. I'm sorry, I didn't mean psych ward. She may have dementia. And he goes to visit her Bridgeside Psychiatric Care Center. That's where I got that. He goes and makes promises to her all the time. He's just so small time. He lies to he does lie a lot. Okay, this guy's, he's a crook. He lies a lot. And this is an interesting look into the psychology of the mind and where he got his powers. And now I like my action figure a lot better because now I know who he is. And I'm going to use the cape and the guns on some other figure to make it even cooler. Because that hooded cape is actually really cool for the hood.
And his green slacks.
Yeah.
Doesn't the action figure have green pants or something?
Oh.
It's like a really random figure without the hood. It makes sense.
He's right up next to...
I'm pretty sure Tyler bought it just to be an extra in his pictures. Like he didn't buy it for their hood.
He's got a very angry face, and he's got guns, and he's yelling with the red hood on, and he's right next to Alfred E. Newman in a white suit, who I forget the name of his character, but I've read him recently. He's like the clown, or what is he? He's got he's in a white suit, and I've read about him in some books recently, and that's how much of an impact he made on me. I can't think of what his name is. He's all dressed in white and looks like Alfred E. Newman with red hair.
Arcade?
Who is it?
Arcade?
Arcade. Okay, yeah.
Does he get like a bow tie?
Sorry?
Does he have like a green bow tie or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the parts that I do not know why they made an action figure out of him. He is a completely worthless character in all the books I've read recently. And I actually don't know how they came up with a hood action figure.
Arcade is the most useless.
I haven't found.
He has a great episode in what's the show called with Patton Oswalt on
MODOK.
He has a great episode in MODOK.
Maybe that's why they put it out.
I think Marvel's putting out every character they've ever made at this point because they're running out of characters to do.
Well, I've got a action figure of Living Laser, which has got to be the weakest action figure ever made. I had to buy it because he's all pink, shooting out white bolts of lightning, and I'm like, who's afraid of this guy? Why did they make Living Laser a action figure?
You know what's
They
not
make that-
lame? The
They
super
make
chat.
that,
was
and Taylor and I can't get a classic Spider-Man because they sold out within like 2 months.
Well, we might get one this year, Rick, with the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man.
That's going to be a great Spider-Man.
I'm excited for that and Null this
Yeah.
year for Marvel Legends.
Eric, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it a lot. We all appreciate it. I'll be giving $1 to these other guys after YouTube's done with it. But thank you for the super chat. Thank you for all the great content. I'm late to the show, but love watching all the old ones. Nice. We appreciate it.
We have a big backlog of videos at this point.
Yeah.
Something else
that
I read.
Comics isn't watching.
I don't want to say anything about these books, about what I thought of them, because it would displease my co-host. I started my Marvel Noir read-a-thon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because Jess doesn't like to know my thoughts about things before I read them. So
before I read them.
Yes, before you read them. So I'm really tired right now. I have a newborn and I'm not sleeping the best. So I'm tired right now. So
I was waiting for you to pull that card.
Oh, I did. I'm allowed.
I read a bunch more, as a matter of fact. I read Captain Marvel, 6 issues. Freaking fantastic by Kelly Thompson. There's tons of action, tons of strong female protagonists. She always is... she's getting into scrapes, but in this series, she finds out she's half Kree, half human. And this is one of those ones that... Rick talked about where they give you an update at the very beginning. And then when it's revealed that she's half Kree, half human, then the world starts to turn against her, even though she's done so much for the world. She's considered Earth's mightiest hero. But then she's got a gal pal crew that is a totally kick-ass with Jessica Jones, Jessica Drew, Monica Rambeau, a new character called Hazmat. Extremely well written, and the dialogue is great and true to how I think probably superhero women would feel once the world turns against them. And she's learning more about herself. She's pretty down on herself in this. But the art is great, and the storyline, Kelly Thompson, so great. I hope this gets an omnibus. I bought 6 books, so it better get an omnibus for you guys. I highly, 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 highly recommend this. This got 5 stars from me.
Well, they just sold the Kelly Sue DeConnick Captain Marvel Omni, so maybe that is next.
And I haven't read any Kelly Sue Captain Marvel yet.
Was there enough for an Omni?
Kelly Sue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's another small Omni, like
small one, though.
Okay.
Yeah, like Howard the Duck.
Another series I reread Wolverine, like I said, the omnibus by Mark Millar, and Superior Spider-Man, and that was a lot of fun. That was just as fun as I remembered it. I'm really hoping I need to pick up the rest of the Dan Slott's run. I have Big Time and Superior Spider-Man, and a lot of these books are hard to find now, the hardcovers.
Oh, they are?
I read his post. I read all of his post Superior stuff, so everything up until when Nick Spencer took over. But I did it on Marvel Unlimited because the hardcovers, either you can find some, and then the other ones you can't find are like way overpriced. So I'm just kind of holding out hope that once they start pumping out Dan Slott Spider-Man Omnis, that they'll eventually. I mean, I guess
I'm
it's starting.
stunned they haven't done that yet. I can't believe they haven't started that line of Omnis yet.
Yeah, I mean, his post Superior stuff isn't as. I don't feel like it's as good as Superior, but it's still a lot of fun. Even the Spider-Man Worldwide storyline, where you got Parker Industries and kind of like everything's going right for him. Like, it's still a really interesting read and just like a lot of fun. And
I love that costume.
Yeah. And the last issue 801 with Marcos Martin on art is like a great coda. I mean, really, Slott story ends on issue 800, but 801 is kind of like a coda to his entire run, or just Spider-Man in general. And it's like a really touching, heartwarming story.
And Stuart Immonen wraps up his run before 801 as well with Red Goblin, right?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite artists. So I really want to read that. I can't believe they haven't done Dan Slott Spider-Man Omnis yet. It's just really hard to believe. And maybe they're going to do it after the Ultimate line runs out and they put all those Omnis out. But that's the series where people will buy it. Like really day one, everyone's going to buy that.
And like,
so
I don't know.
Really surprised.
I don't know if they're waiting to start with Brand New Day as like the next Omni and kind of go sequential. But I'm shocked like that they wouldn't at least put out Superior. It's like a nice 35 issue, 33 issue run.
Well, I don't know how they'll brand Brand New Day because it's not just by Dan Slott. It's like the Brain Trust as well. So that might be its own Omni, and then they'll do Dan Slott, blah blah blah.
Right.
So I imagine that's probably how they'll do it, but I have no idea. I just can't believe they haven't done it yet already. Like they put out his Iron Man in an omnibus. What the heck? Nobody wanted that. Everybody wants your Spider-Man run.
They put Empire in omnibus, like literally 2 months after it ends.
I mean, DC gave us Red Hood and the Outlaws New 52 and Deathstroke New 52. If those come out, why can't we get Dan Slott Spider-Man?
The other, I love Daredevil by Mark Waid. You were right, 100%. That was your recommendation that I read that. I read all 5 hardcovers, loved it, and I can see exactly why he said what he said in our interview, where people think that this is sort of the light, happy Daredevil, when this is the series where they delve deep into his denial of his depression, and they talk all about his depression throughout the whole thing.
A lot of dark things happen to these characters too.
It's lot of dark.
It's
things
just because of the art is so.
Yeah.
I want to say cartoony because cartoony has a negative connotation.
Yeah,
but it's a different style of art than Alex Maleev, than Michael Lark, who did Brubaker's run, Frank Miller. But there's a lot of dark stuff going on in this series.
Right,
a lot of
like
really bad things.
It's like vibrant. Like it's not like, I mean, that's not a good page to say this on, but the coloring and
oh, you mean like this?
Look how vibrant that is.
Okay, how about that page? That's vibrant.
Right.
Is that vibrant enough for you, or you want more vibrant? I'll find you vibrant. Come on, man. Although a lot of it happens in the dark because so many dark things happen.
Chris Samnee is just is masterful on that series. I mean, the other artists are fantastic as well, but the highlight of the series is really Chris Samnee.
Have you guys read?
Great together.
Have you guys read their Rocketeer run that they did for like IDW?
I never heard of this. Is this a thing? I never heard of this. Is it good?
I've been meaning to pick it up for a long time. I think it's supposed to be excellent.
Is it like a trade or hardcover?
It's got to be great. I also read, as I said, Deadpool by Joe Kelly, and I loved it. And I loved the Captain Marvel by Brubaker. And then the last thing I read, and I will answer this question because I did read a lot, Marcelo. This is the most I've read in a month. I just dedicated my whole month to reading Marvel. I was happily surprised with how great Domino was. This was a series by Gail Simone. It's Domino 1 and 2, and then she has a team with her for the third one called Hot Shots, which I don't think is the best name for a group.
I just think of Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah,
Hot Shots, the movie with Charlie Sheen.
Right, exactly. It may not have sold well because of the title, Hot Shots, but she's also I didn't know much about Domino before. I mean, I've certainly read a lot about her, but this is a deep dive, obviously, into her character, what her power set is, the people that she surrounds herself with. Outlaw, Diamondback, Colossus, Cable, they're all in there, but and Morbius shows up. But
I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the great news that Madam Web has been cast for her own movie?
Madam Web, I've been waiting for that.
Man, they got Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades of Grey, so we're gonna get that BDSM Madam Web movie, which everyone's been asking for.
I've been dying for a Madam Web.
Every time Sony announces a new movie, I laugh out loud. I'm like, who is asking for a Madam Web movie? Who's asking for a Morbius the Living Vampire movie? I can't believe what they're doing over there. Sorry, I had to. Sorry, Jess. I had to interrupt and tell you the awesome news about Madam Web. I couldn't.
Well, I appreciate that because that's an update I really am excited about. I can't wait for the arcade movie.
I heard if Madam Web is a big hit, they're gonna do a Tombstone movie. The dead zombie Spider-Man villain that is just.
I love Tombstone. Made of stone.
I like the Tombstone movie from 20 years ago.
Oh, excellent.
But the Domino books were solid 4.5s because they were they had really snappy dialogue. They fleshed out the Domino character enough to the point where you really start rooting for her, and you really, really dig her and in her adventures. Gail Simone, I mean, no surprise that I like it because I love Gail Simone's writing. I don't hear anybody talking about this book, so I'd like everybody to start talking about it and reading it. It's I even loved Hot Shots because it should have been called Domino Volume 3, but
that's also a great movie, Hot Shots.
It's got great art, and Domino is a character, as I say, I wasn't familiar with enough that. I mean, I've seen her in New Mutants and whatever X-Men books she's in, or X-Force.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2, yeah. But this is a really, really good book. Solid 4.5 stars for Domino. This was my surprise of the month. It's been sitting on my shelf for a couple of years at least. I don't even remember buying them. Well. I can say that about 95% of my collection. But this was my surprise of the month because it was so good. I knew these other things were going to be good because I had heard about them before, but I had heard nothing about Domino. So I was really happy to be exposed to that, and I'd like more.
Oh, I also read Planet Hulk and World War Hulk as well.
Oh, yeah. What did you think of World War Hulk?
I really liked the story of Planet Hulk. I thought the art wasn't as great as it could have been. I thought for the awesome story, the art could have been kicked up a notch, the better artist, but I still thought the art was serviceable enough that it didn't distract me. World War Hulk is basically just an action series, which is him fighting a bunch of people, but I still liked it. I'm someone who actually likes JRJR's Marvel work. I hate his DC work for the most part, but his Marvel work is still pretty good. So I enjoyed both for different reasons. Both are definitely worth reading. I also read All the Marvels, which is a book about a guy who read all 27,000
that's the best
Marvel comics. And that was a really interesting book where it's him kind of going through what he took away from this 27,000 comic binge that he did over the course of several years. So
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. He read stuff on Marvel Unlimited. He had beat up trades he kind of tracked down things in dollar bins. It's like a years long journey for him doing this.
Did it say how he read it? Like, did he read everything chronologically, or did he read he read all the X-Men, then he read all the Spider-Man?
I think he had a checklist of all the comics he wanted to read.
Okay.
And so I don't think he read it chronologically, but a lot of these things he read over the course of many years. But he tracked them down in different ways.
We got to get him on the show because I saw him on a Zoom call with 10 other people that a friend hooked me up with, and he's a fascinating interview. I would love for us to get him on and to talk about that book because that book sounds fantastic.
I recommend that and Slugfest. Both I read in January, and they're both great reads. For anyone who's into comics, they're both essential reads, I think.
I read Slugfest and loved it. That may be the last book I read. That's probably the last prose book I read, Slugfest.
I didn't read it this month, but I've really been enjoying the Conan Marvel output that they've been making. I mean, especially Jason Aaron's run, and now he's back on King Conan. So hopefully there'll be another oversized hardcover when that's done.
I'm sure it will. And that Conan by Busiek Omni is in my stack of shame right now. I have to read that.
Oh,
Your
I'd
reading
never-
stack of shame.
Yeah, my
I
reading
never
stack
read
of shame.
any Conan before that. I mean, all I knew was the Schwarzenegger movie, and that Omni is excellent. Like you can,
The Busiek one,
yeah,
and you liked the Jason Aaron Conan.
yeah.
You did too, Taylor,
Yes,
right?
I really like the Jason Aaron Conan. And Jess, do you know what is best in life, according to Conan?
Oh, tell us again.
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of the women. That is what's best in life. One of the best Arnold Schwarzenegger lines. Not as good as Total Recall, which I told Jess about in our last video. Remember, Jess?
Yes.
Where he shoots his wife in the face because she ends up being an assassin. She goes, honey, we're married. Boom! Consider that a divorce. One of the best action movie one-liners of all time.
Ice to see you.
We're not
What-
talking about Batman and Robin in this show now. That was not a good one-liner from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Marcel. The answer is I read 37 books, including 6 omnis, 5 oversized hardcovers, 6 oversized hardcovers, a bunch of other hardcovers, full runs of Captain Marvel, Domino, and Black Cat, and the fabulous Beta Ray Bill. 37 books. I'm way ahead of my reading challenge, which I am certain to fall behind in soon.
You're building up a surplus.
Here's
I read
Sebastian.
I read 28 books in January, and 4 of them were prose books. So I'm feeling pretty good with just having a newborn. I was able to read that much. So I felt
You
pretty
got a
happy with
lot
it.
in with having a newborn.
Yeah. I read 21, and 20 of them were Marvel books. The only one that wasn't Marvel was Nightwing, but I couldn't.
You read Nightwing. I still haven't read the hardback of that.
Don't worry, Jess cheated too.
I cheated on the Minister big time.
You
With
both
Chris.
cheated on me. I was faithful to both of you, and you both cheated on me.
I cheated
Jess,
hard.
what I say to you? I said you said I have a lot more Marvel books I'm still going to read. I said a lifetime of fidelity can be ruined by a moment of infidelity. That's still how I feel in February.
And I still feel the guilt of it.
You should feel that guilt for at least a lifetime.
Oh boy, I can't promise.
I mean, Nightwing was so good. I feel no guilt. It was. I couldn't not read it as soon as it came in.
I give more of a blessing to Rick because Nightwing is one of my favorite books of last year. So I never read the books that Jess read, so I can't give him that absolution.
Well, we'll go from that to Sebastian, who says, just discovered your channel half an hour ago. Cool to see your live, OmniDog. Great content. Thank you so much.
Well, Sebastian, you should follow all of our Instagrams, which is mine's right here. Rick's is right up here. And Jess's isn't there, but you'll find him somehow.
Wait a minute. Let me get rid of something. I got to get rid of that, and let me go back and see that I got the right one. Oh, nope, there's another one. These bots are killing me.
We have bots right now?
Yeah, and oh my gosh, and we have the Cycle Cleveland bot in here.
Is he vacuuming his walls right now?
He's swiffering
his walls. Didn't you try that, Jess, and it worked out well?
It does work out. Yeah, we did it in our downstairs bathroom. We swiffered our walls. Worked out great. Where is Cycle?
Did you guys? Here's a question. Cycle, of course, is all caps. How did you guys feel at the end of Make Mine Marvel Month? Did you feel like you wanted to continue with some more Marvel reads, or do you want to take a big Marvel break after January?
It's a mix. So basically, everything I read was good. I want to start the Nick Spencer Spider-Man run, but I'm going to read other stuff this month. Just kind of take a break, and maybe towards the end of the month or early March, I'll start back into Spider-Man or something else. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of other things. Like my goal this year is to read a lot of the physical stuff that has been sitting on my shelf forever. So I feel like I gotta attack that.
There's a couple people
books?
that thought you were kidding, Taylor.
No, that's real. I'm not joking around. That's a real thing. It makes no sense. I'm all for superhero movies, but I'm not going to go see Madam Web or Morbius. I have no desire to see that.
Cycle Cleveland, not knowing what to believe. We are mysterious people, Cycle.
What about you, Taylor?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
everybody please hit the like button. While you're here, give us a like. Stop what you're doing. Go hit the like button or the thumbs down. I don't care. Either way, just like us.
Well, right. I just finished this past week. I read the Nightly News by Jonathan Hickman. I read the Nightwing thick trade by Peter Tomasi, which I really enjoyed. And I want to hopefully my Joker and Harley replacement book will come because I want to read that Black Label book. I do want to continue with my Hickman Marvel read-a-thon though. I want to go on Fantastic Four and Avengers. I hope to get that done sometime soon. Right now I'm in the midst of my Bendis Superman read-a-thon that I didn't finish a couple months ago. Both Jess and I read the first couple books and then got distracted with other things. So I went back to that now.
I think I read all of his Superman, and then I need to read. Yeah, I need to read his action now.
Are you annoyed like me that they decided to say, "Hey, let's do some standard-sized hardcovers and then wrap it up with some trades"?
Yeah,
Come on, DC.
I'm not annoyed because I was able to find all the trades, so
Okay.
I'm still waiting on a shipment. But I would have preferred, like, at least I like the hardcovers a little better for protection. But yeah.
It was just annoying that they're like, let's put out some standard-sized hardcovers, then just go straight to trades for the last two. It's just like, again, it's that guy working for an hour a day over at their collected editions department.
I think it's a collection of monkeys that are drunk throwing darts at a dartboard.
Do you mean like this? You have all trades leading up to here, and then all of a sudden, hardcover.
The funniest, Rick, is with the Tomasi detective run, the first three hardcovers, fourth trade paperback, and the rest is hardcovers.
Yeah.
Why would
they stuck a paperback in the middle of hardcover?
The fourth is a trade paperback, and the rest are hardcovers. It makes no sense. The dumbest thing I've ever seen happen in the history of collected editions.
I'm not tired of Marvel, but that Justice League Dark Omni is what I want to read next, and that's going to take me a while. So I'm going to read, and I need to read Nightwing, Rorschach, and Strange Adventures. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a DC kick for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm still going to read Marvel, but it's just I'm obviously going to be jumping back and forth more to different things. I really had a lot of fun during Make Mine Marvel month, but it also reminded me how thankful I am for variety when I'm reading different stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're going to try to do DC December, right, Jess?
Sure.
December.
I love it.
If you want to join us, Rick, you can do it.
Yeah, I'm in. Do you feel that you're more of a Marvel guy or a DC guy?
Based on the volume, if I compare my bookshelves, I have more DC than I have of Marvel. If I had to pick just one, I'd probably pick DC because they have Batman. I just can't imagine never reading a Batman comic for the rest of my life. But I would feel a huge loss if I couldn't read Marvel anymore. So that's why when I read the Slugfest book, I feel like he kind of drove the line between DC and Marvel fans too much sometimes. I'm like, most of the people I know like both. Yeah. Obviously, I think all of us like one a little bit more than the other. But I can't imagine never watching a Marvel movie or reading another Marvel comic as long as I live. I think most people like both to a certain degree. So I really like them both for different reasons. I would say I'm more of a DC guy, but I love Marvel as well. It's really close. It's like this. It's not like a total blowout like for some people.
I didn't realize until we did Make Mine Marvel month that I had way more DC than I did Marvel. So now I'm trying to kind of like balance that out. But I think part of that is DC does more, like I was saying, of those Elseworld kind of like mini series. So for me, it's like easier to purchase those because I like those kind of like consolidated, like concise stories that you can, easily read, and you don't have to like jump into like a 20 years of history, where Marvel hasn't done that as much.
It's definitely easier to get a newbie into DC comics than it is a newbie into Marvel comics. Because like here, read Batman Year One, read Superman Birthright, read Wonder Woman Hikatea. There's just so many different things you can give someone who's a newbie to DC comics. Marvel, it's like, hey, go back to this massive run that has a bunch of crossovers in the middle of it. They don't really have a lot of those evergreen classic solo stories like we talked about. Like The Vision is one. I'm trying to think of any others. There's not a ton of them. Marvel is one of my top 10 books. So that's definitely one. That's not a great series for someone to read right off the bat, though.
I think you need experience in knowing who those Marvel heroes are.
This is a pretty good. I mean, I think this
Yeah.
is now out of print, but these 4 stories, whether you read them on Hoopla or Marvel Unlimited, are like really great starting points because they kind of get to the core of the characters, but have some, history in them. I think all 4 of these are really great stories.
I'm
I
not
still
saying
have
you
to
can't.
read
I'm
that.
not saying it's not. I'm not saying that you can't get a newbie into Marvel comics. It just seems easier. There's more easy spots for DC books. Like Rick said, they have those single solo stories more than Marvel does. Marvel has the better runs in general, I think. But DC has those great evergreen stories.
I mean, even that Harley story from I can't. What's the artist and writer's name?
Harleen?
No, yeah, Harleen.
Stepan Shajic.
Like stuff like that. You can know nothing about Harley Quinn, jump right in.
Same with Joker Harley.
Or like Kingdom. I mean, or there's like the New Frontier would be a great place to start for somebody.
Justice.
Justice.
Yeah. There's a lot of those for sure. And Marvel has What Ifs, but that's not nearly as big as like DC's Elseworld stuff.
One of the best things Marvel's done, I feel, in the past few years is this.
Oh, I need to read that. I need to get that.
What is that?
History of the Marvel Universe
By Mark Waid.
Oh, it's by Mark Waid. That's right. Yeah, I should probably get that. I loved also X-Men Grand Design. I didn't get the Omni, but I kept the Treasury editions or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that's what this is. Same size.
Yeah, that's probably the only way I would tell somebody to start X-Men is to read Grand Design, because that gets you caught up all the way to 1980 in a really nice format. Oh,
And that art's awesome.
this is the story of the Marvel Universe, and Mark Waid wrote it. And it's, wait, what is this book? Why don't I know?
Javier Rodriguez is on art, I think.
Yeah.
Show us more. So it's,
I think Jess and I will be buying this later tonight.
man, I'm getting this.
There's so many. The art is phenomenal. And then,
wow.
I mean, I feel like I can never go wrong with Mark Waid.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rick. Looking at your shelf, you might be more of a Transformers guy than a DC guy.
All the Marvel stuff's at the bottom.
Where it should be.
Bunkmaster B. That's not you. What's Bunkmaster B?
What's his name usually? It's
Ben Uncles.
I don't like this new name.
Bunkmaster B. What is that about?
Yeah, change this back. You're gonna confuse us.
Yeah, change it back to your real name, Bunkmaster. And no, I did not name all the Harley stories. I agreed with one and named another.
Bunkmaster B sounds like a To Catch a Predator name that they had online or something.
Catch a Predator.
He went under the pseudonym Bunkmaster B. We're gonna catch him in our
Bunkmaster.
sting.
Whoa! Where are you going there? Not so fast. Come on in and have a seat.
That's a guilty pleasure for me to watch on YouTube every once in a while. I love watching those guys squirm in their seats when Chris Harrison shows up.
Oh,
it's one of those things where it's so sad, but it's also so entertaining to see these guys get caught. It's a weird watch.
I love Cops. I used to watch Cops all the time. My favorite is World's Wildest Police Car Chases.
Do you know what's the best thing ever? Like one of the top 10 best things in life? Catching a real live car chase on the news.
Oh,
I remember one time we were on vacation and I spent like 5 hours just watching a car chase instead of going to the beach. It was 5 hours well spent.
You spent all 5 hours indoors watching a car chase?
I don't know if it was 5 hours, but it was at least 3 hours. Me and my friend were just watching it like we can't take our eye. When you see a live chase on TV, you can't not watch it. You have to watch it. You cancel everything.
I agree. Yeah,
like if you're at Rick's office, you're gonna go find that sleeping bag and hide under your desk and like get your phone out and watch that live car chase.
I was at a graduation party when I was a kid, and everybody went into the house and like spent the rest of the party watching the OJ car chase.
I watched that live. Yeah, I remember that.
How long did that go on for, Jess? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh,
hours. Did you ever watch
Hours.
the FX TV show about that? Like the what was it called? American Crime Story. That was really good.
I haven't.
It was like a drama version of it. That was a fantastic show.
Here's Lars with a good point. I would say that DC were willing to take chances. Piranha, Paradox, Helix, Black Label, and of course Vertigo. They also did the Vertigo crime novels. That was interesting. The Paradox Press.
They did. They
were
also took over Wildstorm too.
Yeah.
I didn't even count all the Vertigo and Wildstorm books I have. That far outweighs my Marvel stuff if you count those as well. Like all this, like the first two shelves here are just Vertigo books, basically. So
yeah.
I definitely have a lot more DC related stuff.
What
this
is Marvel
was
having
Baby Jessica. Baby Jessica fell into the well. She was a teeny little baby, and I remember watching that. That was on the news for a long time too. Her rescue.
What were you saying, Rick?
Taylor, in your book that you read, did they talk about Marvel's new universe that they like put out in like the late 80s?
I don't think so.
Jim Shooter like tried to start basically like an imprint. And it was
I don't remember. They talked about like the amalgam a decent amount when DC and Marvel both mixed things up and had the characters mix and match. I don't remember that though.
I don't remember that either. I do remember Amalgam, but I never read it. I remember seeing it.
Like Dark Claw.
Oh, okay, wait. What is this now? Oh, DC versus Marvel comics.
Oh yeah, this is like a peak 90s crossover between the two, and then like right after this they did the Amalgam comics. It's like one of the first trades I ever got.
Yeah, Rick, I definitely recommend both of those books to you. And I recommend all the Marvels to Jess since you read Slugfest already.
Yeah. I definitely want to read all the Marvels, and I want to talk to that guy.
There's a lot of great books about comics I think a lot of comic fans should consume that I've really enjoyed.
Let's see. Did I read anything else for Make Mine Marvel?
I'll look at my Goodreads.
Yeah, I looked at my Goodreads, and I think I covered everything. I should give Phantom X to the worst viewer ever. Oh, I read Winter Soldier Volume 4, The Electric Ghost. That is by Jason Latour. Winter Soldier Volume 4. That actually wraps up the Brubaker run. Winter Soldier Volume 4.
I need to read the Captain America by Remender omnibus. I've had that sitting there for a while.
That's staring me in the face.
I need to read that. I read the first trade on Hoopla of the Alien Marvel series by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and that was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was nice to see something different than Aliens 3 and Alien Resurrection.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that series was good. I feel like very rarely do I kind of feel like on edge, and I felt that he did a really good job kind of capturing the tone of like the original Aliens.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it, Jess. It's on Hoopla.
Okay. It's a collected edition already?
Yeah, it's just the first trade.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm waiting for a hardcover to come out at some point. I'm sure it will.
Okay.
Because Marvel's been doing all those old Alien Omnis, so I assume they're going to do an Alien hardcover of this current run at some point.
Right.
I have 6 thumbs up on my reading challenge. Why? Oh, and a comment. What's the comment?
Did you get my thumbs down?
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
The comment is you won't do it.
I wish I had the time to do 200. I got to aim for 120 because Omnis take a long time. Haha. Oh, well, thanks, Omnibuster, for the comment. I wasn't even aware that you could communicate through Goodreads. They don't have thumbs down here, you jerk. Just thumbs up. Or they don't show the thumbs down then, maybe. Oh, friends challenges.
Everyone, now the show's become Watch Jess Conquer Technology.
I don't even think you're my friend here. Are you my friend here?
I thought I see your challenges. I mean, you must not follow me because you're
Rick has read 26 of 185 books. Taylor has read 31 of 151 books.
I set my challenge. I'm sure I'm gonna pick up my reading challenge to higher than 150. I just didn't know what things were going to be like with the baby around, and I've been able to read a decent amount. So I'll probably kick it up to 200. I did 261 last year, so I don't know. Maybe I'll.
No one's judging you. I'm not judging you.
Well, I'm not saying I'm judging. I keep trying to think if I should up my count or not, because I don't know.
Well,
I'll probably be able to read more than
I just do it to
going
keep track of my books.
Yeah, I don't do it because I feel like I have to. It just kind of motivates me. And
Well, that's the important thing then.
I also love being able to know what I read, because I used to be like, I can't remember what I read this year, and that just really annoyed me.
Right.
And it's nice to catalog all the books that you've read to remind yourself of what you've read. And you can go through all your past reading challenges to see what you've read over the years, which is helpful.
Super Laugh Hard. I don't own. Okay, I own, like, for Judge Dredd case files. I don't own many because I just bought the collections of what I considered the most important stories. But then, like, maybe 17 through 20 are by, like, Grant Morrison, Mark Miller, some other I don't know, did Warren Ellis get in there? Maybe I'm thinking of Garth Ennis, but there's a period in there in the late teens where I bought a bunch of case files that I haven't read yet because they're writer centric, and I was interested in those what those writers' takes were on Judge Dredd. He's 2/3 through his read through of 45 years of Judge Dredd.
That would burn me out hard. Yeah. That's like, if I was like the guy in all the Marvels who read all those comics, I would have burned out on reading comics if I had to read 27,000, especially when I have 27,000 comics from Marvel. How many do you think are actually good? If you have
to guess? Man.
It has to be less than half.
I love this comment. He feels more lost than Donnie from Big Lebowski.
You're out of your element, man.
You're out of your element, Donnie.
I think it took me like three years on and off to read all of X-Men from Giant Size up until, House of X. And out of all that, 20% of it was good.
See, that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, Rick, with our X-Men video. There's so much X-Men and most of it's bad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great stuff in there, but there's a lot of crap you got to wade through. If you like, Omar literally has every X-Men book in collected edition, but I think he hates like half of them.
And he's like, why? He'll tell you that too.
I just can't imagine having books I hate in my collection. I just can't imagine. No judgment to Omar at all. That's like his thing, and he wants to do that. That's awesome. I can't personally imagine having a books that I hate that I'll never reread in my collection.
Well, I got rid of a solid, all of my 90s X-Men has been sold. And that freed up a lot of shelf space for these stacks of shame outside. What? I don't know about 90% of everything, but I mean, 100% of this show is great. So
I was going to say, if it said 90% of all people are crap, Jess would have said no 100%.
Oh, excluding 99.9. Yeah, 99.9.
What got you into comics? Was it a Marvel character or was it a DC?
Me?
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, both of you.
I grew up a DC guy. It wasn't until I got into I knew I had read enough Marvel in my teenage years that I knew everything that was going on. I read a lot of Spider-Man and Captain America as a teenager. But I grew up a DC guy. The first comics I ever got were Batman. And I have them on display out in I still have them. I have them in a glass case out there with some action figures. But when I grew up, you couldn't. It was the comic rack at the drugstore, and you had to take what they gave you. So it was a DC heavy comic rack, and so I gravitated towards that. And I can't say that I got heavily into Marvel until I really discovered Third Eye Comics, where back in 2008, where they started turning me on to a lot of Marvel characters in really good books. And eventually they're the ones that got me into New X-Men, Astonishing, Uncanny, Ultimates. They were the ones that turned me on to a lot of Marvel. I think I'm still a DC guy at heart. But I've really narrowed my Marvel collection down to, I think it's all stuff I really, really want to read or I will reread.
Yeah, obviously Batman was what got me into it. Batman the Animated Series and the Tim Burton Batman movie really just solidified my love for not just that character, but superheroes in general. Then there's shows like Spider-Man and X-Men that got me into Marvel stuff, but DC's always been my first love because of Batman. So it's hard to really shake that, I think.
Yeah. Kind
Is
of
this true?
I don't know. I guess so.
He's
And then-
afraid to say it, but I can tell.
I'm tired. I know I'm tired.
Well, I bet.
I'm probably because my eyes are closing on the stream.
You're falling asleep
I'm
on
falling
air.
asleep to the melodic voice of Jeff Sprague.
Wake up, you sleep.
I'm like the guy at the least DC Collected Editions department when he first gets there in the morning. Bang my head on my keyboard.
Superman. Ah,
That's
we
probably
need
how
a
we got that.
Superman.
That's probably how we got that fourth trade in the midst of the Tomasi detective run. He must have hit his head out the space bar and ordered a trade paperback instead of
the space
instead of
bar.
the hardcover.
I need to get that Nightwing by Tomasi. I do not have it. I don't know how it escaped it.
Do you have it, Rick?
yeah.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Did you read it, Rick, yet, or did you not read it yet?
No, I haven't read it yet.
You should read it soon and let me know what you think. I think the whole thing was good. Was great. The Rags Morales issues aren't nearly as good as the issues by Don Kramer or Doug Monkey.
Not a big Rags Morales fan.
But I think
I'm not.
it's really early Peter Tomasi, but you can tell he's such a strong writer even back then. He was an editor who became a writer, and he understands DC characters. He's one of the most underrated DC writers, in my opinion.
Tomasi?
Yeah, I think a lot of people really like him, but he's not held in as high regard as I think as he should be. Like his Super Son stuff, his Superman stuff, Green Lantern Corps, Detective Comics, the mythology is my favorite Batman story ever.
Yeah.
He's just someone who really gets these characters. He doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. His Nightwing run is really good.
I mean, Mark Waid is obviously still writing books, but I almost would equate him to like Mark Waid. Like almost anything I've read by him, I've thoroughly enjoyed. Like I don't think I've read a thing that I haven't enjoyed.
What about The Bridge?
Oh, the book?
Oh yeah, that was good.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah,
That's the book we all got for $4 off of Amazon. The building of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Is it actually a good read?
Yeah, it's like really.
Rick, I haven't read it, but Rick's read it.
Yeah, it's really informative. I mean, I had no prior knowledge. You know, I never really thought much about how the Brooklyn Bridge was built, but I mean, there's some weirdness because you have like early 1900s language that he's trying to, he's putting into the book, but it's not distracting at all, and it's a quick read. It's something you could probably read in like less than an hour.
Is it it's not, so it's like a novel, or is it like a nonfiction book? Like, what is it?
It's it's comic.
You don't have
a comic. Oh, I know it was a comic. I thought.
It's a comic that I thought you got it for $4 off of Amazon.
No, I didn't know about this. Nobody told me about this.
Yeah,
it's probably still dirt cheap off of Amazon.
Hardcover.
I'll have to check that out. I still need to read Light Brigade that you sent me, Jess. Remember you sent that for free? You had like 2 copies of it. Is that what it was?
I think I have a hardcover and a soft. Did I give you the soft cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hardcover and a soft cover.
Have you read it yet?
No.
I want to read it. I want to read that soon. That
All right,
good.
We'll do a buddy read.
So I want to check out The Bridge then. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's about a father and son who designed and helped build the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay, I'll definitely pick that up if it's cheap on Amazon.
I felt like there was like a dozen of us that grabbed it when it was on sale for $4.
But in terms of Nightwing by Tomasi, Jess, it might be harder to find, but I think it's on CGN still, and it's on Amazon. Even if it's not readily available, I don't think it's going to be super expensive or anything.
Okay.
So I think you can still pick it up somebody's. I think it's definitely worth the pickup. I know I definitely want more Nightwing in my collection. And so I definitely wanted to read that because it's by Pierre Tomasi as well. And you really, like Rick said, you really can't go wrong with Pierre Tomasi.
Yeah. I haven't liked Detective after Mythology. That's just me. I know you do. I loved Mythology, but
I mean, it's not nearly as good as Mythology. I wonder what we would have thought if Mythology hadn't been the first part of the run.
right.
You know
Just
what I mean?
started out amazing.
That was like my favorite story. How do you go from there? There's no way he could have like had a story that made me feel like he did with Mythology. Have you read that yet, Rick? Mythology?
No, not yet.
You definitely have to read it. I don't want to set you up for failure by saying it's my favorite Batman story, but it's really, I think you'll still think it's at least really good.
Oh yeah, Kristen's chiming in here. She didn't like the bridge. That's who I thought it was you, Taylor, but it was Kristen. She didn't like the bridge.
Maybe she can send her copy to Taylor.
There you go.
I bet she's already taken it to Second and Charles. Well, she's watching, so I imagine she's already taken it to Second and Charles. What in the world? Even Mythology didn't do it for me? Well, that shows you that everybody's different. Wait, where's this from? Father and Son for the bridge. I assume it was not that bad. They actually built a bridge that worked, whereas JJ and Henry built a book that did not work.
Yeah, it seems like they both went to school to be engineers, and they didn't. The son didn't just start assisting because he was the son
and assumed he had engineering capabilities.
Yeah,
he just put on glasses like his dad wears and carried himself like his dad to pretend to be his dad, hoping that people would think he was really a great creator.
You take a stick and another stick and then another stick and then there's your bridge.
I definitely wouldn't trust J.J. Abrams to build a bridge because he doesn't know how to stick the landing. So I definitely wouldn't trust him with the infrastructure bill that Joe Biden's going to bring to Pittsburgh. So I definitely wouldn't trust him to build more bridges in Pittsburgh for us.
Matthew, do you think black and white comics are cool, or is that kind of lame and color is the way to go?
It just depends on the series.
Yeah, I have no problem with either as long as it's a good story.
Like an example I'm thinking of, there's some great crime comics, that are black and white. Like Jess and I read the Vertigo crime imprint. All those are black and white. Queen and Country by Rucka, that's black and white.
Here's Kristen. I'd totally send you my copy, Taylor, but it definitely went right out the door to Second and Charles. I was just bored. It was fine.
Well, so far, Kristen, our Venn diagram of books involves only one book that we both hated. So it's hard to know what we both line up with in terms of taste. So maybe we'd agree, maybe we wouldn't. It's hard to tell. But I do know we all hate that Downriver people. Me, you, and Jess, the Venn diagram all crosses for hate for that one book.
On the same day, the same hour, at the same minute, we all read it and all came together with our hatred. It bonded us.
I felt bad that I brought it to the group as an option. It sounded like a Jess Bragg book.
You consider that your second mistake?
No, because it's not like I read it and said it was great. I just said, based on the description, it sounded like a Jess Bragg book. And then you said it sounds like a Kristen book. And so I said, I'll try it at the same time. It wasn't like I read it and said, guys, you got to read this. It's so good.
Okay.
That would have been like a friendship ending mistake. I wouldn't have judged you for stop being my friend.
Okay, that's fair.
The only thing comparable to Downriver people is the Matador. That was the first book that me and Jess disagreed on, Rick, over 2 years ago. I absolutely hated it with a burning passion, with the crashing of 1,000 waves, and Jess thought it was good. Now I think you hate it, don't you? Don't you? You said you can't read it again now, right?
It's by Devin Grayson. And
yeah,
so
she's also
I reread it knowing her history with User. And I was like, yeah, this really isn't that good. What made me think it was good? I think it was a gift from somebody and they thought it was good. So I just thought it was good, and then read it again, and I said, "This isn't that good."
Well, Rick, you said you're a really positive guy. What's a book that you absolutely hate? You probably don't have it in your collection. That's the hard thing. You don't really have these books in your collection because you get rid of them or you read them digitally.
So I read, as part of my Marvel read, I read Spider-Man Amazing Grace, which was like a side story to the main Dan Slott story. And it was, let's put it this way, the War of the Bounty Hunters was better than that.
Was better than what?
Spider-Man Amazing Grace.
Spider-Man Amazing Grace.
Yeah, it was like a side story. I'm trying to.
Well, who wrote it? Slott?
No. It was like a side story to Slott's.
I don't know that story. Amazing Grace.
Jose
like
Molina and art by Simone Bianchi.
Where did you read it in? Was it part of a Spider-Man read-a-thon?
Yeah, it was. I read it on a Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
It like took place concurrently with Dan Slott's Spider-Man Worldwide run. It was just like a 5-issue series. I stopped reading it basically. I got 3 to the 5 issues, and I said to myself, "There's only so much time in this world."
Right. That happened to me. Somebody disagreed with me about Two Moons Above or whatever it was called. Black Stars Above. Two Moons was great. Sorry, John Arcudi. That's a good book. Black Stars Above was one of my loathed books, and a viewer said, "No, that was such a good book," and gave me the reasons why. And I'm like, "Hey, we are all opinions are welcome here." But he loved it, and I hated it. So.
Yeah, well, man, that's like your opinion.
Yeah,
So.
man, that's your opinion.
Batman Damned. Not to pile on that, but
that's in my giveaway pile over there. I thought maybe I'll reread it one day and I'll see what I think. And I was like, no, again, like Rick said, there's too little time in this world. I can't give any more time to that book.
No.
You know where they're going to put all the copies of that? Where they used to put all the ET video games from the 80s.
Yeah.
They discovered those, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Rick, you wouldn't believe how many comments Jess and I have gotten over the years saying, you guys just don't get how great that book is. It's just way above your head. And it's like,
oh, this is Batman Damned?
Haven't we got at least like 10 comments like that where it's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. This book is great. It's way too smart for you. And it's like, I don't think this book's too smart for me, man. I have a master's degree. Jess is an educated guy. I don't think it's over. I think it's just a dumb book.
I heard it.
They're not happy comments either. They're not like, I politely disagree with you here. It's like Taylor saying, you guys don't get this book.
The best comment was from 2 weeks ago in our X-Men video where the guy ended his comment by saying, you cannot call yourself the Minister of Comics if you don't like X-Men or Omnis. And never did I ever say I hate Omnis or I hate X-Men in that video. So obviously he wasn't watching. But I liked how he told me I can't call myself the Minister of Comics because of fill in the blank.
Right. That was recently. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
So before Omnis existed, we could not call ourselves comic book readers?
Apparently, yeah.
And maybe he knows that you prefer oversized hardcovers to Omnis, but from previous videos, but the Omnis comment caught me by surprise because there's only so many Omnis. I mean,
it's just
not everything's been omnibized. I want to read this, and so if I don't wait for the omnibus of Domino, I'm not a comic fan. I don't get it.
That gatekeeper mentality is what's wrong with comic book communities at times, where it's like you're a fan if you like superheroes and you like comics. If you like comics, you're a comic fan.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what form. It doesn't matter if you have no comics and you read them digitally. It doesn't matter if you only buy Omnis. It doesn't matter. If you like comics, you're a comic fan. There is no like level of gradation of like, I'm this big of a fan, you're not that much of a fan.
Well, and he attacked your name. I gave you that name, and you use that name to great success now, and I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Yeah, I just get annoyed with that kind of stuff.
Minister of Comics is the Minister of Comics. That's the end of it.
Forget it.
He is the minister. Forget it. He is the minister.
I am the minister of wanting to go to bed.
Okay. This has gone on a long time. Peace and love to everybody that tuned in. Thank you for watching. Rick and Taylor, thank you for joining me on the channel, or rather, Rick, thank you for joining us on this show. Thanks for joining us for Make Mine Marvel. This was a lot of fun. I had a blast reading all this stuff, and I'm glad you guys did too.
And maybe me and Rick can do a video on your channel without you someday, like how you guys did with Tyler yesterday.
Hang on, I got a call. I'll be back in half an hour. Just a sec. Okay, wait, I'll be right back. Blank. So, Rick, what toys have you collected?
And then we couldn't even share the screen. We didn't have the...
Oh yeah, we didn't have any control over the. We didn't have any control over the people's comments or being able to highlight each other. It was funny.
So this is my friend, Mr. Black. See, I know Simpsons references, Jess.
That is a Simpson reference.
I know that.
Good for you. Good for you. Thanks to everybody in the chat who joined us, shared their Saturday night or Sunday morning, wherever you are. I saw Farhan in there. Thank you, Farhan from Malaysia, for checking in with us. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate everybody watching this afterwards. And Rick, where can they find you on the internet?
Rick's Rambling Reviews on Instagram. And thanks for having me, guys.
And how about you, Min?
You can find me at Minister of Comics on Instagram, and every other week on Baturdays in the BatCave, where we rarely talk about Batman anymore, apparently.
You were shadow banned, Rose. We're always happy to have you. What if I hit this star? What's it do? I don't. I'll unstar it. I don't know what the star means next to the name. But no, Rose, we dig you. I sent you books. You're not shadow banned. Everything's cool. 4 a.m. in Edinburgh, Scotland. Holy guacamole. Well, so peace and love. You can find me on OmniDogs Vault on YouTube and OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram, where I haven't posted for like 2 weeks, and I have 100 pictures that I could post, and I really need to get to it. Yeah. So peace and love, peace and love. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate Rick joining us, and I always appreciate having a show with the Minister of Comics. It's always fun, and I'm happy to play us out with the play us out. What does that mean? Play us out. Do you get the reference?
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Baturdays, Baturdays. Omnidog and the Minister of Comics talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the bat. Baturdays, Baturdays,